What is going on? What is going on? What's good in the nation? We are in day 3 of training camp, second day where the media could be out, right? Lots of news, lots of stuff going on, people making noise, people standing out, lots of movement at a lot of positions from what we're hearing, from what I'm hearing. There's been some good, some bad, and of course, some ugly, right? It's the first day of camp. We have Mike Dixon from Vegas Sports Today will be joining us very shortly. So y'all stay tuned, get ready, pull up for that. Get your questions in, and let's just get into it, right? Let's get into it. So lots of news going on. Um, Robbie Leonard on the Kobe Dean says he loves his confidence, his leadership, and it feels good to have that in a Mike linebacker, right? He even said Nakobe Dean in practice today. Rob Leonard came up in the huddle, and let me make sure the words are right. Robbie, get out of my huddle. I got it. So Nakobe Dean telling the coach, right, get out of the huddle. I got it. I love this. I love this leadership. You know, some people will say, oh, isn't it disrespecting the coach? You know, I don't think Robbie Leonard took it as disrespect. I feel like from his quote right there that, you know, he loves the fire from Nakobe Dean. So shout out for Nakobe Dean taking charge, right? Because you're not going to have your coach out there in the huddle in the middle of plays, right? When the bullets are flying, whether it's preseason, whether it's a joint practice, or whether it's, you know, games that count, right? NFL season. So you're going to have all those guys out there. So good to hear, right? Stepping up, taking charge. You want that in your leadership. But let's get into it. Without further ado, the great Mike Dixon.
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
What's good, my brother? How are you doing? How are you doing?
Doing very well. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir. I can hear you great.
All right, good. I like that hat, by the way.
Man, how you the biggest question, how you surviving in that Vegas heat? I know it's brutal out there.
This is how I'm surviving. Wake up early, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, and play football on grass, just like Clint Kubiak is doing every
Early in the morning, right? Yes. So
early in the morning. Hey,
we,
average practice temperatures right now in Las Vegas, it's about 105 to like 109, and that's from
okay.
like 9 p.m. till 10:30, 11 a.m. So
That's not
it makes a difference going to practice at 7 a.m. But really they start at 7, but we arrive around 7 and they're already on the field. And by the time we get out there, it's about 7:30 a.m. So
so, what time were they starting at last year? Were they a little bit later, or was it
yeah,
it was more indoor, wasn't it, last year? A lot more indoor.
yeah, I would say it was definitely balanced between indoor and outdoors with Pete Carroll. And if my memory serves correct, I believe it was around like 11 a.m. So sometimes early in the morning too. So, but then when you were indoors practicing on the turf, versus the grass, you get real comfortable inside. And
Yeah, and
how many dome stadiums do we have in the NFL? Probably like more than 12, I would say. But the
yeah,
Seahawks, where they come from, outside on the grass. I lived in Seattle for a year, and I got to experience that time out in, I want to say, 2022. But I would travel between Seattle and Las Vegas every month because I miss Vegas so much. And it's something like Max Crosby said. This is one of the greatest cities in the world, and I've been everywhere. And I'm just rambling now, man, just because
no, it's good.
between Seattle and Las Vegas, and I see how it all ties together again. And back-to-back years going with Pete Carroll and now Clint Kubiak. So,
So with that being said, what are the differences you're seeing out there in mini training camp? And now I know you weren't out there today. You had some UNLV and some boxing things going on. We'll talk about that in a bit. But what are the differences that you see between Pete Carroll and Kubiak? Like the way he runs his offense. Is it the way that I heard? There's a lot of talk about when they're subbing guys in and out. It's like it's quick, it's fast. There's no laziness, no dragging in and out. So, speak on that a little bit. What do you see?
well, that's absolutely correct. That's very accurate, man. Practices and the plays go so fast during training camp, and which I do like. For me, I try to focus either on O-line, D-line. When I study a football team, I like to watch from the center to the left tackle to the right tackle. And, you got the ones, the twos, and threes coming in, some on both fields at different times or at the same time. So, between, the left tackle and then the right tackle, then you got your center, then your quarterback, then you go down to the right. So you got to look at the personnel so fast, man. And, I actually want to show you this. I believe in stepping your game up, right? In anything you do. And for me, I have a personnel tracker that I use, and I'm going to start using tomorrow at Raiders practice, right? It goes from 0 personnel, empty backfield, down to 23 personnel, right? And you can see 2 running backs and 3 tight ends. And, I'm going to track each run, each pass, from old games up into new games, even during practice. But I cannot, give you too much information because I have certain rules and guidelines that I have to abide by. So, it's not that media is holding out. We just have to respect, what the organization wants and the head coaches and the players most importantly. Because, like, if you look at the back, we have 45 days, man, until football starts, real football. But for
Let's go.
Miami versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, man. So I could talk football, man, all day with you. My mom, my father, you bring me a dog.
Anybody
a dog about football, okay?
Anybody that wants to listen, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. But yeah, it's just the praise practices. They go real fast, man. And I see a lot of influence from the Seahawks, a little influence with the Raiders too. Offensively, and I can't really speak on that too much, man. But Raiders fans, you're in for a surprise, man. Don't be surprised if you see every single player block it, man. And Trey Tucker, down to DJ Glaze and fullback Connor Hayward and Ashley Dixon. I don't care if we're gonna go out on the post route, right? You're gonna see Brock Bowers out there. You're gonna see Michael Myers out there because he likes to run that 21 personnel. And guess what? Hopefully I don't get in trouble for this because I'm just telling you what I seen last year versus the Seahawks and the LA Rams during a few games.
Yeah.
But there's this one play I saw with Njigba, and you'd think it was going to be a deep route. No, you see tight ends coming in, just taking guys, linebackers and safeties, just getting up, just mashing them, right? Then you see Njigba just come over the top of any corner or any linebacker, just take it, break it down the field. Now, the Raiders don't have that kind of player on the team quite yet, and that's no disrespect to any of the wide receivers because it is hard to make a 53-man roster in the NFL.
It is very, very hard. Very hard. So let's get into it. First takes on like how dominant did Max look out there? Did it look like there was a little bit of hesitation? Was he, going full bore? I know in his press conference he said the coaches are coming up to him saying, "Hey, look, now you can't hit this guy. You got to lay off the quarterback." So I know Max is going to be Max, and he said there's a couple plays that he felt he hesitated a little bit, but Max is going to be full bore going. So tell me what you see about from Max and.
Well, that's certainly true. I was there for day one, which was yesterday, Raiders training camp, and got an opportunity to talk to Max during that media scrum too with everybody. And if you go, as you know, I actually have a video from yesterday that had significant traffic on the Vegas Sports Today Twitter and YouTube channel, right? And I'm going to touch on that a little bit later, right? But that play, now Max is known for going hard. That's no secret, right? But to come off an injury after 7 months, man, and he couldn't get out of bed, for a month and a half. And then he's the first guy doing his sprints, going hard, 100 miles per hour, man. And you see, it's like, I know he's only 28 years old right now. It sounds crazy. He's in his prime. But it's like him in his sophomore year, I can't even say it now. I'm a loss for words. But Max looks like old Max is what I'm trying to say at the end of the day, man. He got down hard, going from sprints, boom, boom. And then you can see that influence that he put on with Fernando Mendoza. And that's another video, right, where you see Mendoza just going hard in those sprints. But Max, man, let me tell you, bro, he did that with John Gruden. He even said that during the press conference. He was like, hey, man, Even old coaches used to come up to me from Gruden to Josh McDaniels and Antonio Pierce, even Pete Carroll, right? Hey, take it easy, man. Don't hurt the quarterback. Like, slow down. And then he said Kubiak said that in the Kubiak way, right? Which is all ball. Yeah, he's a rookie head coach, but he's like, hey, take it easy on my quarterbacks. And like,
you can't do this.
yeah, we don't want to hurt Kirk. We don't want to hurt Mendoza. The future is bright right now, and he needs time to develop. But Max, I want to talk about another thing, man. Like, there's a quote that I'm not sure if a lot of people picked up on this, man. If you go to Twitter or Instagram on Vegas Sports Today or my personal one, right? Max talks about his recovery, how he struggled, physically, mentally, and emotionally with a lot of things, and for a guy who's experienced, he's very passionate about just playing football. He to sit in bed for a month and a half, you can't get out because your knees and your legs are so stiff, man, from the injury, and to crediting his support system, his wife, and the Raiders. I want to say the recovery, how they go recover it in terms of like the swimming pool and massages, man, and obviously the pain medication, man. So Max wears his heart on his sleeve, man. And I'm not trying to hype Max up too much, but this is a question that you truly focus on. That what I've noticed that most people didn't pick up on that story, man. And I encourage you guys to go watch that because he was very emotional about that situation, and he's happy to be back as a Raider despite that trade not going down with the Baltimore Ravens. And he said, hey, I want to see Raiders fans fill up Allegiant Stadium in silver and black, and we're not in control of that in terms of the fan base. I don't speak for the fan base, but I speak for what I see perspective every game over the last 6 years that I've been there. There's a lot of Chiefs, a lot of 49ers. So if you do not sell your tickets, fill it up, get that home crowd advantage, because it would never happen to Oakland. Yes, it's Vegas. It's a destination travel location for anything. You got a lot going on here in the city, even including this boxing that we got going on. So, man, hey, fill up the stadium. That's on you guys.
Right.
If you got $500 laying around, go get those tickets.
You heard the man. Fill up the stadium.
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
watching my back. If you guys hear my dog.
Right? Hey, doing this job and keeping everybody protected. That's what they're there for, right? So Fernando Mendoza, and also, man, we're speaking to Mike Dixon. Y'all go over there, check him out. Vegas Sports Today. Y'all go check out everything you do. They do boxing. They do everything Vegas. The Aces, right? The Knights. The pretty much UNLV. They're covering everything over there. So if you're in the Vegas area or anywhere and you like Vegas sports, man, make sure you go over there, show some love, like the channel, putting out great content
right now too. Big shout out to you, man, because you hold it down, man. The Rebel Raider, he's a passionate, intelligent, professional guy, man. And I'm gonna say this as well. You know how hard it takes for people to wake up and prepare something new every day, and he's dedicated about that. I'm not just saying that because I'm on the show, man. I see the passion in everything that he does, and I'm willing to work with everybody because content creators and media, and apparently in Raider Nation, there's a beef. I don't have a beef with anybody,
Right.
And all I say is I support good people, good content, man. I just want to cover this team. I want to cover everything in Las Vegas, and now my focus has really come down to, just Raiders, boxing, and UFC, and you'll see more me doing more lives with my man right here and other folks on our team, and you just might see me by myself, man. So, I'm grateful that you gave me an opportunity to come on with you, and I like what you do, and you don't need to hear this from me or anybody else, but you keep that shit up, bro. Excuse my language.
Appreciate it, my brother. I appreciate it. So you talked about
and if you do like him, real quick, I want y'all to drop $6 for the 2026 season, right? So we can continue to cover everything he wants to cover, games, and go anywhere he wants to get you guys the content, man, because it is news, it is entertainment, and he's providing you guys the service. And my bad, I just kind of jumped in and put some.
No, you're good, man.
I love the fans.
I appreciate the hype and the love, man. It definitely means a lot, especially somebody in your position that does what you do. So, as long as people are noticing, right? That's what we're trying to do. You can't grow a community by yourself. It takes others to join. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're growing slowly but surely, and that's
Right.
what we. So you talked about the offensive line, right? You like to go from the center out. We know there's a huge battle at the guard position. Um, Mainly the right position, right? Is it going to be JPJ? Is it going to be Caleb Rogers? I heard Jordan Meredith's now getting some reps with the guards today. So they're moving him up with the ones and seeing where he's at. Everybody on this channel knows how I feel about Jordan Meredith, right? If you're going, with experience, I think he's proven at guard, in 2024 when he played there a solid amount that he was the best guard on the team and he was the fifth best guard rated in the National Football League. So, him being moved to center, I think has hurt him. But once they start seeing him at guard, I think that's going to help. But talk about what you've seen. Mostly, I hear Spencer Burford still getting most of the main snaps at the left guard position. So, how do you see that going? And is there anybody on the second and third teams that are showing out at the guard or tackle position?
So, from in my opinion, from what I saw, right? First of all, let me just tell you how I like the line for me if I was Clint Kubiak or Rick Dennison, the O line coach, right? Obviously, it's a no brainer. We're taking Colt Miller at left tackle, right?
Okay.
And so far, from what I saw from the mini camps, and it's only day 2 right now, and the tape that I've watched on Spencer Burford, yes, he has concerns as a pass blocker. And I have to go double check that, but last I saw he was a damn good run blocker, right? And he's balanced. Kubiak with his offense, 50 runs, 50 passes, he's very down even. Then we got Tyler Lindenbaum, center, no brainer. Now for me, yes, competition is important at the right guard position. I mean, may the best man win. But from what I saw out of JPJ, I do want to see him at right guard and then close it out with DJ Glaze at right tackle. But we have 45 days until the
Right.
season starts, right? We have 45 days to figure this out.
It'll
And
all reveal itself, as Kubiak says.
yep, you know what you've seen so far out of JPJ over the last couple of seasons, right? You need to put Caleb Rogers. You need to start him for well over 50 snaps during preseason games. And then you're like, all right, cool. And now how can you judge JPJ and Kubiak's system? Maybe you have to split the snaps right down the middle. But if I'm leaning towards anyone, like I said, my top 5, and guys, clip this if I'm right or I'm wrong, all right? I want Colt Miller left tackle. And shout out to my dude over here, Faded Raider.
Right.
You a real one, bro. You a real one.
Shout out for the $5 holler. Appreciate you for sure.
My top 5, like I said, left tackle. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
My top 5, left tackle, I'm taking Colt Miller. Then obviously we have Burford at left guard. Then I'm obviously Tyler Lindenbaum. I'm gonna lean towards JPJ just because he can move, and this is a outside zone running game scheme. But I think Caleb Rogers did well. So if not, he'll end up in a backup position at the right guard position. My opinion, not a report.
Yeah.
And then lastly, DJ Glaze at right tackle. That's how I see it playing out at the start of week 1 in the NFL.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset with that. The only thing that that worries me is the guy next to Spencer Burford when he was starting at San Francisco was graded a 98, right? And then your center is graded like in the 7. I think it was a 74. But his grade in passing is a 57 and a 61 in the run grade. But Jordan Meredith, when he was playing guard full time for the Raiders in 04, right, when AP was there, the guy was graded a 78 in the run and a 79 in the pass. To me, I just feel like that's a big difference. So, even athletic wise, they were running the same scheme back there because it was Chip Kelly's scheme running that West Coast, kind of that wide zone scheme back then too. So,
you're onto something right there, brother. You're right. You are absolutely right.
And there's a reason why they had him, as the backup center, and now they're starting to get looks at guards. Like they said, it's going to be a competition. Everybody's going to get snaps. So, I like the competition. But have you seen anything from from the the third round pick in Tristan Kuhn
So
or
no,
Trey Kuhn.
it's
So
not that I have not seen anything from him. Like for example, okay, um, for me at a practice, right? And this is just one page, okay? These are all my notes, right? Then I got the 53. I got the 90 plus man roster, right? I'm going down everything. So for me, you know, he's got a lot of praise right now from the offensive coordinator, and Rick Dennison, but I have no comment on that right now.
okay. Shout
The
out to my
reason I
guy.
say guys is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, shout out to my guy Navy Vet for gifting 5 memberships, helped growing the Raider Unleashed Militia. So shout out to all the people that got members. Welcome to the family. Protect the Shield, Greg Lira, Crystal Ball, a Dusty Oreo. That's a funny name. and Cerebral. So appreciate y'all. Welcome to the Unleashed Militia. And shout out to my guy Navy Vet for helping us grow over here. Appreciate you, my guy.
Yo, shout out to the Navy vet. Listen, I got nothing but love, man.
And shout out to the Navy as well. Right?
Yes, sir, that's right. Look, I do this because my stepfather is a Marine, right? And then
Okay.
my little brother is currently in the Army.
Okay.
I'm a mechanic E4, and my uncle was in the Air Force for, well over 15 years. He was Desert Storm 91, 92. Shout out to my boy Boulevard Barbecue, Steve Shearer. They will be inside Allegiant Stadium, section 128.
Okay.
He was a medic right there, so I have nothing but love, man, for the nation. And most importantly, don't forget, look this up, guys. The Raiders, that represents the United States Marine Corps, right? It's like one of the personalities of the USMC. But L. Davis was also a Marine right there. Go look that up, man. That's where the name comes from. So shout out Raiders, man.
That's where that rebel attitude comes from for Al Davis. So Arnie Garza got a question. He says, "Who is the most athletic guard? JPJ, Burford, Meredith, Rogers, or Trey Zoon?"
Whoosh. Good question, man. I am sorry, guys. I missed practice today. I would have put more emphasis on this O line, but if I would say athletic off the top of my head in this scheme, I'm gonna give it to. I can't go against Rogers, and I can't go against Burford, man. Although he appears to be, a little stiff in the hips, right? When it comes to pass blocking. But, I talked to a former running back, Ronnie Brown with the Dolphins down at the NBA Summer League just a couple weeks ago, man. And, he told me the way O-lines work with the running backs, and obviously there's going to be a big emphasis and focus on the running game here with Kubiak, although that was said about Pete Carroll last year, but let's focus on Kubiak, right? Ronnie Brown said, the most important trait for Ashton Genty to have entering year 2 is patience and vision, and he has to learn to wait till the holes open up, and, whether he goes outside to left tackle with Colt Miller. And I expect to see a lot of runs, to the left, and that's why that left guard position is so important. And and I have to actually go back and look at Ashton Genty's tape from last year and see where he likes to go, man. But to have an athletic guard to help get down to the second level and third level for blocking, so he can break one big, man. That's why you drafted Ashton Genty. Last year he had 5 rushing touchdowns, and 5 pass catching touchdowns. And I think from what I saw today, yesterday, I see a lot of passes being caught, man, from Mike Washington and Ashton Genty. So I'm really excited to see how this team unfolds offensively, man, because I'm looking at it right now from a macro level compared to a micro level, and that's why I love football.
So I heard today Ashton Genty broke one for a touchdown. I don't have confirmation. I'm waiting. I heard it from some little birdie, and then I was like, man, I better verify and check. So I'm waiting. So
unfortunately, y'all.
So I would love to find that out. But I also heard there was not a bunch of holes, and they were closing very, very fast from the defense today. And that's why they were kind of moving guys around and switching it up. So let's see what
I was gonna say. That's one thing I like about this. Again, sorry guys, I missed Raiders practice today because UNLV football. I was watching the quarterbacks. Go watch that, and I just got through covering the press conference with Roach versus Zeppapeter Jr. for Golden Boy. This fight is August 1st on Saturday. I'm looking to a great matchup. There's a young Las Vegas kid by the name of Dylan Capetillo, who is currently 2-0 with one knockout, going against Juan Barcelli. That's a fight you need to watch out for. Um, kids a star in the making. And then, other boxing news. And I'm getting back to football with this. Don't worry. Other boxing news I've seen come across is Teofimo Lopez having an issue with an open envelope with the WBO for a purse bid around 2.5 billion. I'm sorry, $2.5 million. So that's something, that's really major news, and that's with the old school promoter he used to work with in Top Rank and Bob Arum, and that's supposed to be going against Devin Haney. And I'm not reporting this as factual information, but he did lose this, and I'm going to look into that now. So, big shout out to Raider Nation. And I wish I was there for Ashton Ginty, because I got video yesterday with the D line, and I have like Adam Butler, Malcolm Kuntz, Quay Walker, and different positions. Obviously along with Max Crosby, and you can see that Rob Leonard, and it goes back to your point, okay, that the O line was kind of getting closed down with like small gaps and small tight holes, because that D line, man, it's really, and that defense honestly is 3-4-4-3. It's very versatile. So the way that they can switch out players, I think that's very important, because you don't want to have your best player, potentially getting injured.
Yeah.
You have that hockey line, you just mix it up, man, and it's good to see that. I know it's only shorts. There's nothing to get hyped up. Wait till we get to day 4, day 5, when the pads come on.
And what's that, Monday, right?
Oh, yes. So
Monday?
Yes, we're looking forward to it. Monday is according to my schedule.
So speaking of, we were talking about the line drills. You posted a video. Y'all go check out the video and give me your take. But our own Kurt Cochains seems to have gone viral for your video of how slow he is running on the 5 back, 10 back, 10, 5, 10, 15. I don't know what y'all call it, but that's what we call it, 5, 10, 15. But on those line drills, because he was like, everybody else was done and he was still trying to get to the 15 and had to come all the way back. And yeah, so what have you seen from Fernando Mendoza? Now, just your opinion, right? Does he look like, a future franchise quarterback, or is it clearly still some development? He said it himself in the press conference today. He's not fully know the playbook, right? There's a lot that he's still trying to go with. He said, he's still trying to, a lot of reports said that he looks fine when he's in the gun, but when he's under center, there's still a little bit to learn there. But what have you seen? What have you seen from Mendoza? Right? Is it still like a big development, or is he shown signs from the first couple of days of minicamp to take in today? Because there were reports today that who was it? Somebody, Andrew Janocko said he loves the way he's taking over the huddle. Seems like he's much more comfortable than he was, the last 6 weeks or whatever. So, what have you seen from Mendoza in your time out there?
Definitely agree with Janocko, man. You can see that he has a strong command of the huddle and the offense, and I won't say the offense, but just getting the guys together, breaking out the huddle and getting down, to the line. But guys, let me remind you, right? This is a new job for Fernando Mendoza. He just got hired in April, right? And you only get limited hours inside of a headquarters for, according to the NFL and NFLPA, like you get a couple hours to study, in the training room. You get a couple hours to study in the classroom. You get a couple hours to get out on the field. So, and that's why they have to stay together on their own time to study that playbook. And then, when he first got drafted before rookie minicamp, think about this. His effort, his mindset, his mentality. He had the rookie class and the Trey Zone, I believe, or another center doing snaps, practicing under center, right? In the hotel when they got drafted. So you got to give a guy a chance to develop. And I'm not making excuses for this guy or anybody else. Like you don't when you buy when you date a beautiful girl, right? You're not gonna immediately take her out to a dive bar. You want to take her at least to a nice 3-star, maybe 4-star, depending on how right?
Right.
How crazy she looks, how good she treats you, right? So I have the same kind of concept. Like, you don't want to rush things too fast. If she could potentially be the one for you, and if your quarterback is the one for you, take it easy, man. Let him learn the game first mentally. You know, there's 55 to 65 plays
Right.
during the start of training camp or OTAs that these guys have to have down pack, right? From first and short, second down, second and short, second and long, third and down, red zone, then goal line opportunities, mind you. And then they're going to switch things up. And we have formations. We have so many different things that you have to learn. And then when you have all your terminology down, right? What's next? You get the call.
Yep.
You're upstairs in the booth. All right, Z right, flat, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Right? Now you got maybe less than 25 seconds to communicate that at the line to your teammates, right? You go out here, all right, pre-snap reads. All right, I see this. Mike, protection, right? Then boom, oh, I see a Mike there. Now you gotta adjust the line. Cosmo, Bellagio, whatever word they decide to make up, right? Bro, that's a lot going down at every play. So honestly,
Agreed.
do you really want Fernando Mendoza to start right now?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I've been saying. If the kid is clearly the better quarterback and he's making the decisions and he's calling checks into a audible to a run game or the hot routes like he said today. I'm still learning the defense, the defenses, the disguise when they turn my back to the defense. Right, I got to know my hot routes. I got to know my audibles. I got to be able to check into the right audible. You can't just check into any audible, right? You can't just say I don't like this play. Let's go with whatever one I could think of off the top of my head, right? No, you have to know what the defense is in, right? If they're in cover 4, or if they're in cover 1, right? If they're running zone, you have to know what they are. You have to know where the mic is. You have to know where to send your protection before you can change the play, and that takes time, right? You have to learn all that, and I think a lot of people are overlooking the fact just because a lot of first round picks or number 1 overall picks, start right away. Some of them start week 3, some of them start whenever, and just give the kid time. Whenever he's ready, he'll be ready. You can't force him out there, and the athleticism is going to be there. He's going to be faster than Kirk. He's going to throw the ball farther than Kirk Cousins, right? The accuracy we know is there, but it's the mental part. You got to get you got to have the knowledge of the game, and I think that takes time. So he's in a great position. I feel like having Kirk Cousins and Aiden O'Connell there, no matter what happens, even if Aiden doesn't end up staying, right, then that shows that he's taking a progression and they believe he can be that, quarterback too. But he's been out there taking second team reps. Aiden O'Connell taking third team reps now. So, they've been moving a lot of guys around. Aiden O'Connell got some reps with the twos. So, they're bringing it in slowly, and there's no reason to push it. I don't know why Raider Nation is so trying to get the kid out there and pushing the rest of the young man when he's in his press conference is saying, I'm not there yet, right? And if he's not confident being there, how can you throw him out there with the offensive line you don't know, receivers you don't know, right? You just can't do that. So
Yeah, guys, listen, and I want to go back to what you said because you said about Kirk Cousins, right? Kirk Cousins. Hey, listen, Kirk, he doesn't really have to move as fast as Fernando Mendoza getting off that line. He was just showing effort, like I want this real bad in that viral video with Kirk and Mendoza. But I will say this, guys, do you really want Fernando Mendoza? Does he look like a franchise quarterback so far? Yes, on paper, so far, he's showing all the intangibles that you want to see out of a franchise quarterback. But again, slow your horses, man. Do you want to see Fernando Mendoza go up against Aaron Donald and everybody else on that line? Do you want to see him go against that Seahawks and potentially get hurt or injured? We don't play scared, right? We just want to play smart. And I'm speaking as if I'm a coach, talking to you guys like you don't have to rush that development.
Yeah,
that's why you want to bring him in slow, man.
but here's my thing with that though. If Kirk Cousins is slow and the O line, is developing, right? They're not going to be And with them mixing it up the way they have been throughout camp, and I'm sure they'll continue to mix up the offensive line. They need that cohesionness, right? They need to be able to gel together. And if the offensive line isn't able to hold up or give the quarterback enough time, do you not think it's not a great idea if Cousins is not athletic enough or still have it in him to be able to escape pressure or move around or slide around in the pocket, or be able to get the ball out fast enough?
Yeah, like for me, listen, and this is actually going to answer your question really well. Why did they draft Ashton Genty? Right? To take the pressure off the passing game, right? You want to get that down to – you want to get it to 3rd and short, man. I want 3 and 2. All right, cool. Now if it's 3rd and long and, and they're somewhere like in the red zone area and the defense tightens up a lot, especially outside and pressure coming from inside, mobility. But then guess who's your security blanket at the tight end position?
Right. Yeah, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, who I heard has been making some plays out there, diving for some footballs, like showing that effort. Like he's like, man, I want this.
Play action to Genty, right? And then you roll out Kirk Cousins, and then wherever you send your wideouts to, but long as Mr. Reliable, ranked number 1 in the NFL, by the way, at tight end position, Brock Bowers. You just want to toss that ball up and let Brock do Brock things. He's all football.
Right.
He's athletic.
Just give Brock the ball.
Just give Brock the ball.
Give Brock the ball.
And that's what you got that veteran for. And I'm not sure if I answered your question entirely, but this is how I see it, man.
Yeah. See, my only thing is Kubiak's system, and like you said, if it's a lot to see what the same things he did in New Orleans and Seattle, right, and San Francisco, it's those quick passes. You get leverage and you get your blocking lanes and you let these guys catch the ball on the run, right? You lead the receiver and you let him go get yak yards because you got blocking in front of them. So it don't always have to be the big plays, but those plays are timing and rhythm plays. And if your quarterback is slow, you know what I mean? Slow rolling out of the pocket and slow getting to that point where he can turn around and get to those. It all looks great now in booty shorts and a helmet, right? But if he's really that slow, now he could have just been hot out there and been like, I'm a veteran. I don't have to run these drills like everybody else is. But I mean, it was ridiculously slow. And so when you're looking at that, to me, that just, that leaves me questions, because if it's a lot of bootlegs, play action, you're asked to do a lot of rollouts, and those rollouts are timing and rhythm plays of where your guy's going to start his break and where he's going to make his cut. And if you're not, if you're not on time, then those plays are, bad plays. Bad plays. Bad plays.
I'm not comparing this guy and by no means to these guys I'm going to mention, right, that weren't fast or that weren't athletic, right? But hey, for example, Tom Brady, he wasn't the fastest guy. He wasn't the most athletic guy. He was slow, right? But 6 Super Bowls. But it's a team game, right?
Yeah, and he had that great offensive line every year.
Mm-hmm. Then number 2, Peyton Manning, right? Remember his most viral run with the Colts and the Broncos?
Looked like Aiden O'Connell, like a deer on ice.
Now, we're not expecting Kirk to roll out and or move the throwing field out the pocket, right, outside of the tackle box. But the guy's mobile. He's not stiff in the hips. He can move, man. But that's where that savvy veteran quarterback play comes in, because you want better, fast, quick decisions from your vet, and that's why Clint Kubiak named him the starter.
Right. Well, at least for now. That's some people got it now. Some people got it for the season. I think he's just putting it out there. There's a lot of people on national media losing their mind, saying, "How can you, you haven't even seen pads come on? You don't even, you don't know what he can do. You're just going off his body of work." And a lot of people are feeling like, Fernando and Aiden aren't getting a fair shake. But he keeps saying, now it's the majority of the reps. But going into camp, it was everybody's going to take first team reps to see where everybody stands. Do you think he just named the quarterback to stop being asked all those questions? Because we talked about it yesterday. He doesn't look comfortable in the in the media and the pressers. It feels like he just wants to answer the question as fast as possible and move on so he can get out of there. So you think maybe, he's just naming that, or is that the guy going into the season? Because,
Well,
like I said, we
I
haven't
would
really
like to
seen
quote
anything yet.
Kubiak. Sorry, I cut you off, but I like to quote Kubiak. Kubiak said, "Hey, right now, Kirk Cousins is the Week 1 starter, right? But
We'll
I would
see.
like
That's
to see Aiden O'Connell and Fernando Mendoza push him, right? But now to answer the second part of your question, and that was, you know, did he want to just shut up the media? No. Listen, one noticeable difference I compared to last few years with the Raiders head coaches, and it's not all of them, but I'm going to focus on, you know, Pete Carroll, that is. There was a lot of coach talk, right, last year. And I respect him. He's a Super Bowl champion. I'm just a media guy, okay?
right.
You know, Nick Kubiak is all ball. He comes from, he's going to, hey, is the sky blue? Yes, it is, okay? So he's gonna be honest. He's gonna be straightforward, and he's just gonna tell you exactly how it is because he's about his business. I don't feel like he's just saying nice things to be nice to the media or to the fans. Dude cares about football. He cares about winning, and his father is a winner. He comes from a winning coaching tree, and he's not the rah rah guy like we had a couple years ago, and that's no disrespect to him.
Yeah.
Just, I like it. Hey, do you want somebody that's gonna BS you? Hey, yeah, we're gonna name Kirk Cousins to start. Nope, surprise. We got Aiden O'Connell coming out week 2 or Fernando coming out week 2, right? Don't make no difference, bro. You want a guy who's gonna just focus on winning, and he's not here to please the media, man. He's here to win football.
Right. So, somebody has a question. Arnie Garza says, other than Colton Miller, which tackle looks the best in combo blocks in the drills? Is it Grant, Glaze, Dalton Wagner, or Trey Zune?
Well, from what I've seen, I do. Let me go look back at that list real quick. We got Grant, Glaze, Dalton. Dalton stood out to me, and Glaze stood out to me. And I actually got some videos up on the channel. This goes dating back to OTAs. So go watch those videos, and I'll actually plug them in once we clip this. But for me, those combo blocks, those guys are looking good right there. And yeah, I know DJ Glaze allowed a lot of sacks last year, right? I want to say it was 10 plus digits, man. Yeah, listen, that was what, second year? That was the second year under Pete Carroll. And who was it with before when they brought him in? He was drafted by, it wasn't the guy who's in Tennessee right now, man.
Oh,
The GM.
the GM in Tennessee, Dave
Yeah,
Ziegler.
Dave Ziegler, man. I believe that, but I could be wrong. Let's go. As a matter of fact, let's go double check this, man. Can you
That's
do that right now?
you talking about the Raiders' former GM?
Yeah,
Yeah, Dave Ziegler with Josh McDaniels.
yeah,
Yeah, it's Dave Ziegler.
yeah. No, it's not. I want to make sure I'm right about that year because, sorry guys, I got 90 plus guys to study, man. I got to cut this. I got to cut my own roster down to 53, then 65 for practice squad, and I try to take the same approach that GMs and head coaches take, man, when it comes down to this football team. So, yes, sir.
Right on, right on. Yeah, I like that. What else we got? So we talked about this a little bit, but um, former wide receiver that played with the Raiders, played with Rich Gannon, Ryan Hogue, been out there at practice.
Oh,
He
yeah.
comes on the Jesse Merrick show, right? He said that he didn't feel no energy out there yesterday. So you were out there yesterday. He said, other than Kirk Cousins screaming here and there when he made some plays or whatever, he didn't really hear. There wasn't anybody that really stood out. It didn't look like the effort was all there. Like there was no intense for first day of practice. And I don't know. I'm sure back in the day, when he was in the NFL, that was a little bit different. You could play a little harder, you could hit a little harder. You probably had more padded practices back then, so I'm sure he's probably just expecting a little bit more. But what did you see from the energy compared to previous cultures in camp, like AP and rolling around in balls with with Pete Carroll?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I got tremendous amount of respect for everybody that's inside that building, man. And and it goes from media to the players, to the staff, and even the janitor, right?
Yeah.
And for a guy who put the helmet and the cleats on, and that's his perspective, right? He probably likes a lot of energy and a lot of other things, right, that comes out of training camp, But for me, in my opinion, I like I said, I was all over the place, but I got nothing but respect for those guys because you made it to the NFL. I'm just
Yeah.
covering the NFL, right?
Right.
You know, all respect to those guys, and I like his takes. It may not be for everybody, just like my channel or my coverage and my articles might not be for everyone, right? But one thing I will tell you is, you go watch and judge the videos that we put out, man. Everything is it's raw, it's boots on the ground, it's uncut, it's unfiltered. You get what you see, and that what makes I believe our team very special in terms of covering his team, and we just tell you exactly how it is. I try to be well prepared, and but my percentage is about to die soon. But I want to say, you got anything coming up? Because I got more videos
Yeah.
coming. Thank you so much. This has been one of my favorite shows so far. In the month of July, and I'm hoping that we do more and have you on with us at Vegas Sports Today and the VST network.
Yeah, man, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Yeah, so just wrapping it up, like any players that really stood out to you, whether first team, second team, third team, not named, of course, Mendoza, but or who kind of took the bull by the horns, who was the number you were seeing the most out there, whether it's blocking, whether it's making plays or batting down. I heard Hezekiah Massis has been running with the ones an awful lot lately. So, like, what have you seen in your notes that you wrote down? Like, wow.
Well, let me go to the old classic notepad right here. Yes, sir. So, hey, I told you guys, unfiltered, raw, uncut, right? I do have, all right, on my notepad, just double checking. We had, I seen some stuff out of Brandon Johnson, right, from Mendoza. I saw a couple things that I like that stood out to me. And one, I'll give this to a wide receiver in Trey Tucker. There was a nice pass that went, down the field. It was a chunk yardage. Let's call it that, right? And he caught the ball with one hand, from what I saw. Maybe somebody else might have seen something different, and he caused a defensive penalty call on a cornerback, and that went for a touchdown. And again, I got to go back, and this is from my notes, guys. So that's what I saw. I wish I could give you more, but I have so much information from over the last 48 hours, and it will be up on VegasSportsToday.com and on the YouTube channel. So I thank you so much for having me on. Shout out to Navy Vet and everyone who helped, show you love and support. I really rock with this guy, and you keep it up. I'm proud of you, man. It's I can't believe we went for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that long. I was like, oh damn, I could get him out of here. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, telling us what you see, and we'll look forward to doing this again, going through those notes when the pads come on, and hearing a little bit more information. But y'all gonna make sure you go follow Vegas Sports Today, Mike Dixon. The links are in all my things. So I appreciate your time, my brother, and you have a good one. Enjoy the show out there, and keep us posted, and stay out of the heat, man.
I will be back at practice tomorrow for day 3 at Raiders training camp in Henderson, Nevada. I'm looking forward to see what's going on. I missed busting with the boys with Will Taylor Lumen. I interviewed that guy. I want to say a couple months ago, man. Those guys are fun. I like what they do, man. So hey, thanks for having me on. Greatly appreciate you. And as my father says, hey, if you ain't a Raider, you're a hater. Something like that,
Raiders.
Sure. Much love, man. You guys have a good one. Enjoy the show.
Appreciate you, my brother. Have a good one.
Hey, thank you. Too.
All right, man. So there you have it. Right? Fernando out there doing his thing. Offensive line, Spencer Burford, in his opinion, seems to be that guy that's taking the bull by the horns out there. We will see when the pads come on. Right. So shout out to my guy Mike Dixon coming in, telling us everything, what he feels, seeing his side of it. Appreciate everybody in the building that showed love. We'll be on for a little bit more. Um, but then let's get to the chat. We got more to talk about. There's some other things I'll blow through you guys. Combo blocks, congrats. What we got? Shout out to my guy Raider Paul, Navy vet in the building. I see y'all. Chris Rule. I don't see you. Raiders. All right. I think we caught up in the chat. All right, man. So yeah. Let's get to it. So what we have here is, like I was talking about earlier, right? Mendoza looked very solid in his reps today. He's adjusting very well to the pro level in Kubiak's scheme, showing poise, command, and comfort. After digesting the playbook over the summer after practice, he noted he is feeling more like a team member, right? So if you didn't see the video, I'm not going to pull it up because I'm sure everybody in here has already seen it 50 times. I've seen parts of them. I didn't get to catch all of them, but we'll go over that probably tomorrow or maybe later on tonight if I jump back on. I don't think I really got shit going on, but also Sam Morin posted, Andrew Janoko said Fernando Mendoza has grown the most in commanding the offense since OTAs. We talked about that with Mike Dixon. He says he's also processing things in real time, and he's taking things from the meeting room to the practice, out to practice, and trying to work on his footwork to the picture he sees on the field. So shout out for the development of Mendoza, right? Every week, every day, it seems like we hear something else about Mendoza, his process, his development. And let's just keep it going, right? Let's just keep it going. Because if you haven't seen the video from Vegas Sports Today, let me pull that up. Yeah. I mean, I love everybody on this team, but I keep it real. My real opinion, right? It may not be real to y'all. It might be harsh to some of y'all. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but man, let's see. Look to the marks. Look to the marks. All right, who put this out? Make sure the sound is turned off so I don't get in trouble. They've been striking everything. You stoned as fuck. Nice. Shout out to you, my brother. Got off early today. No 12-hour shift. Is it raining or something, Mr. Navy vet? I know you've been grinding them 12-hour shifts. Oh, it's 6:30 though. I keep forgetting it's that late. I don't know. Never mind. Anyways, let me pull this damn video up. What is this? Raiders Camp Live? No, that's not what I wanted. This one. I don't know why this damn thing. Here, I could take these damn headphones off. I have nobody in the building that I need to listen to or hear. Oh, much better. My poor ears. All right, so maximize. And let's play the video. Where's that video at? All right, so this is Mr. Cousins and some line drills, right? Let's peep it. Oh. Oh. Come on, man. Like, come on, man. You're in the opposite direction. You're doing waves. Now, I know you don't have to be that fast, But in a Clint Kubiak system, you're gonna have to run. They run a lot of bootlegs, a lot of RPO, a lot of play action. You're gonna have to roll out and be on time. And man, if that's all you got, we are in trouble. Trouble. Trouble, bro. Man, the video needs to be less than 10 seconds. Otherwise, it gets, yeah, I ain't playing it long. I don't know. It's good enough. Um, it's on X. But yeah, so we got that. So I talked about it. Standout. Had a strong run, including a touchdown in one report. I don't know. Don't take me to the bank on that. I'm still waiting for confirmation. Um, the offense showed processing schematics and element vibe with a positive and rookies. Yeah. Day two overlook. So Sam Warren posted day two Raiders practice offensive operation look clean, both by Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza. Nothing about the second or the third or fourth string quarterbacks now. Some big throws. Team communicated to rotate second string or quarterback two with Zeke Massis still getting opportunities. Max Crosby was disruptive, and Brock had a few big plays. So this is Sam Warren. Raiders beat reported Hezekiah Massis turning heads on day one in training camp. Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about that. How do y'all feel about Hezekiah Massis, right? This dude is out there already passing Darian Porter, and I've talked about it on the channel before. I'm a huge Darian Porter fan. You know, I think the kid's upsized with his speed, his size, you know, the reach. The kid has a chance to be very special with that size and speed. But he's only played the position for a year and a partial year in the NFL, right? He wasn't out there every single play. He played some special teams, played a little bit on the outside. I think he had 54 snaps. I could be wrong. I'll look it up. But what do y'all think about Darian Porter, right? Is Hezekiah Massis, Zeke Massis, a guy that's played a lot of football, 6 years, I do believe, in college? That's a lot of football. Maybe it's 5. I'm gonna have to look that up too. But that's a lot of football, right? He has a lot of turnovers, a lot of pass breakups. He's a damn good tackler, which Darian Porter was solid in tackling, but it wasn't nothing special, right? It wasn't great. He wasn't out there, you know, blowing people up where you're like, oh, damn, right? Nothing big like that, just some normal, decent tackling, right? But Hezekiah Massis, man, we've talked about it. He was on a lot of my draft boards. A lot of y'all already know if you follow this channel, you can go back and watch. Right, we've been talking about Hezekiah Massis for a minute. A lot of the offseason, became a Raider, and the kid is. Appreciate you, my brother. Shout out Mike Dixon for showing up. And the kid is making noise, right? The young man from Cal is out there. He's doing his thing. He's taking first team reps. While you have a guy that was drafted a round before him in Jermod McCoy, who is taking second and third team reps from reports that I got today. Right now, I know they're taking it slow with him, and he's not going to be out there all the time. But that says a lot to me from Hezekiah Massis. That means you're already out there showing out over a guy that, you know, was projected to be a first round pick in Jermon McCoy. And again, y'all make sure y'all go follow Vegas Sports Today and Mike Dixon. Always putting out great content, information, right? Videos so you can see what they see, not everything they see, because they can't be putting out the 11 on 11s and stuff like that because people will steal it. But shout out to you again, my brother. But yeah, Zeke Massis doing his thing out there. Rebel, what are you most looking forward to seeing in the first season game? The first season game, I'd be happy if we just go out there, don't make a lot of mistakes, right? look like they know the playbook, like the starters know what they're doing, because most of these starters or been starters from other teams. We're not going to have a lot of rookies on the offense, right? Doesn't seem like Fernando Mendoza's playing. So there's not going to be a lot of rookie starters or even a lot of rookie out there. Maybe Malik Benson gets, some burn with the first team, but they're going to be a lot of vets. So I don't want to see a lot of mistakes. I want to see guys that are showing that they, in the offseason, they were in their playbook when they're getting their plays over their iPad, the day after practice, that they're in there studying their plays, that they know they're 111, they can do their job and not hurt this team. I want to see physicality from the defense, right? I want to see guys flying around like Robbie Leonard said, right? No thinking. I don't want guys out there thinking and hesitating or backpedaling, right? Go forward. This is a forward game. Offense goes forward, defense goes forward. The only time you should be going backwards if you're covering a guy one-on-one. The rest of you guys should be going forward, man. Should be going forward. So I want to see some physicality. I want to see some thumping. Some turnovers in the first game would be nice. Some in preseason would be nice because we know they come in bunches, right? If you get one early, it seems to fire up the rest of the team. And, without turnovers, you just don't win a lot of games. I believe that's 80% of teams that win the turnover battle, 80% of the time win the game, right? So if you're the team that's creating the most turnovers, getting the most, stops on third or fourth down, you're usually the team that wins the football game. So that's what I want to see. Consistency, right? Guys look like they're playing together. A quarterback that can actually run the offense and is, not hurting the timing and the rhythm plays with his elderly age. Which is younger than me. He's not elder, but you know what I mean? 37, 38, 39, whatever he is, it changes every day. Somebody has a new thing. So that's what I want to see, man. I just want to see a team that goes out there and competes. And I would love to see him dominate Miami, but man, they got a damn good quarterback over there. And they're building something over there too, like we're trying to build over here. And every team's trying to do the same thing, win games and get better. So their roster compared to ours, man, I don't know. But I want to see a victory for one. That would be nice. That would be nice. Let's end with a victory, but let's start with not turning the ball over, not making mistakes that hurt your team, not getting pass interference or, late hit penalties or stupid stuff that's going to cause your team to go backwards. And whatever the outcome is, I'm good with, man. It's game one. How many drives will first team play first preseason game? To second or third game? Non-4. Wait, game non-4 short. How many drives will the first team play in the preseason is what you're trying to say? Well, my brother, I would like to see him play a quarter. I would like to see whoever it is play a quarter. But on the other hand, I would like to see all quarterbacks get first team reps. So, I believe it's going to be Kirk Cousins, probably 2-3 series. He's out the door. Fernando or AOC comes in, cleans up, plays for, the rest of the first quarter, probably the second quarter, and then somebody takes over from there. And more than likely, that'll be Fernando, just my opinion. But I'm sure he will get some first and second team reps in preseason. I'm hoping Aiden O'Connell does too. If not, then, how can you truly evaluate these guys? So 2 or 3, man, 2 or 3. Still early in camp, though. Alec, my guy, what's good? What's good? No rookie starters on both sides. No rookie starters on both sides of the ball. No, Isaiah Palomau was out there running with the ones today, right? It was not Traden Stukes, but I know they have a big plans for Traden Stukes. So shout out John Leon in the building. What's good, my brother? Washington needs to learn that DMC stiff arm. Look, Mike Washington's going to be a problem, dude. He's going to be a problem. The way he's been talking about he's fine. He doesn't need to be that guy, but he wants to take reps. His workout regimen, you can go watch that on YouTube, right? The guy's been out there grinding. he wants to be that guy. He's got that fire. He's got that motor, and I heard a lot of plays out of the backfield passing. So we'll see. We'll see how many reps he gets, but you can never go wrong with a stiff arm. But you got to be strong enough and big enough. And at what is he, 6'1", 6'2", 220 something pounds? I mean, that's plenty big to put dudes on his back. The dude is ripped, not Ashton Genty ripped, because that man is a damn chiseled machine. I don't know what they feed that young man, but damn, I would hate to have to tackle that young Ashton Genty is a bulldozer. Golly. Have you seen his workout videos? Man, the kid is strong. He is strong. And I think that's going to be a big, big difference this year for him. Big difference. Shout out to Busting with the Boys. They were out there. Go watch their videos, interviewing some of the guys. They were out there doing their thing today. You can check out some of their stuff over there as well. And then we have this, man. And then we have this. And I got to pull this up because this is hilarious, bro. This is funny shits. It's a funny shits, bro. All right. So we have Fox Sports Radio. And this is at Mr. Ben Mahler. He says, so it turns out that Las Vegas did not get, as we anticipated, a true number one pick in the 2026 NFL draft. They did not. And if you think they did, you are dead wrong. On the Raiders going with Cousins as QB1 into camp and not Fernando Mendoza. Should I play this? Is it already playing? I don't know. Shit. No, it's not playing. All right, let's listen to
Raiders coach. The announcement, he made it official. The Raiders have named Kirk Cousins as their QB number one.
I don't know if y'all can hear it, but anyways, go over there and check it out, man. Fox Sports Radio. I don't know what's going on. I'm not in the mood to sit here and mess with this. I don't know why it's not working. I don't know why I can't hear it in my ear. Makes no sense to me. Try one more time.
What have they done? Despite being the number.
I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it's hilarious. I don't want to say what he has to say because I don't want to, I don't want to quote the dude, misquote the man. But funny stuff. Go over there and check it out. It's on X. It's about 2 minutes and 53 seconds long. And basically, he's kind of has a little truth to some of it, in my opinion, right? There's a little truth to some of it, in my opinion. Why can't I hear it? Oh, that fucking doesn't help. I'm retarded. So y'all could hear it. Could y'all hear it? Let me know. Video hates the Raiders and Mendoza clickbait. Oh, you could hear it? All right. Is it too loud? Let me know. I couldn't hear it. I didn't have my headphones plugged in. So yes, we can hear it before, but not now. Well, I'm not playing it. So so give me a chance to put it back up. Come on, man. What's going on here? Share the damn screen. Killing me here. All right, share. I don't know what's going on, bro, but the Jesus clipboard Jesus. It's funny shit. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear it. That's right.
Kubiak has dotted the I's and crossed the T's. The announcement, he made it official. The Raiders have named Kirk Cousins as their QB number 1. Wow, that is unbelievably embarrassing. I mean, my God. Just when you thought the Raiders couldn't get any more embarrassing, here we are, boys. This is so good. If you're a Raider hater, holy crap. I mean, my God, what have they done? What have they done? Despite being the number 1 overall pick in the draft, Fernando Mendoza is backup boy, is what he is. All right, so question. What is the message? What's the message the Raiders are sending by handing the keys to the franchise to Kirk Cousins over Fernando Mendoza? All right, so it turns out that Las Vegas did not.
All right. So you hear this nonsense so far, right? He's acting like Kirk Cousins has never been Kirk Cousins, which I've been acting like that too, right? Coming off the injury, I'm worried. 18 and 17, the first year off the injury, you're going to get that, right? You're going to get that. You're going to struggle. But the second year, benched by Michael Penix. Is Michael Penix better than Fernando Mendoza? Let me know in the comments. 14 people in here. Let me know in the comments. Do you feel like Michael Penix drafted what was he, eighth or something? Eighth overall in the first round is better than Fernando Mendoza? Has his body of work, did he have a better college career than Fernando Mendoza? Let me know. How do you feel about that? Because Michael Penix beat out Kirk Cousins. He didn't seem to have a problem.
Yet, as we anticipated, a true number 1 pick in the 2026 NFL draft. They did not. And if you think they did, you're wrong. You're supposed to draft the number 1 pick who is your North Star, not a Minnesota North Star. They don't exist anymore. They moved to Texas. They're now just the Stars. But you're not supposed to get clipboard Jesus on the sidelines walking around or sitting on the bench getting hemorrhoids here. So elite, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, elite first overall picks. If you're the top pick in the draft, if you're supposed to be a plug-and-play guy. Is that correct? Okay, you agree. Thank you for agreeing. Thank you for that. I do appreciate your agreeing. Think of it like Betty Crocker instant mashed potatoes. Just add water and you have mashed potatoes. That is what the top pick in the draft is supposed to be coming in as a quarterback. But in Vegas, in Lost Wages, Nevada, they think Mendoza is a Church of Latter-day Saints plug-and-pray quarterback, and they don't want...
Church of Latter-day Saints plug-and-pray quarterback. Is what he's saying have any truth? There's a lot of Raider Nation and a lot of national media and a lot of football fans in general, just NFL fans, that believe if you pick a quarterback number 1 overall, this man should be taking first team reps right away and showing that he can start, whether he start him week 1, week 3, week 5, week 7, right? Is there a problem with him not knowing the playbook already? I don't know how advanced other players, first round picks, Caleb Williams, right? Who else is out there? CJ Stroud was second, but who the hell was in front of him? But y'all know what I mean, right? First overall picks. You have guys drafted second and third, like Jaden Daniels, who came in and hit the ground running, right? Now, a lot of these teams, let me hide this real quick. Right now, a lot of these teams, they have the option where you can dumb down your playbook, right? By dumb down your playbook, I mean you find 10 or 15 of your best top plays, right? And then maybe 40% of your playbook, and you run with that. You feed the kid 40% of your playbook. You start the season with that. And as the season goes on and he has a chance after practices and on a plane and, after games and on a plane ride back to get more involved in understanding the playbook, then you feed them more of the playbook, right? But by doing that, most of these teams end up 6-11, 4-13, right? A lot of these teams end up with losing records starting their rookie off the bat. And this is what Tom Brady has been complaining and talking about over and over and over again, right? Putting these guys out there when they're not ready. Fernando Mendoza, we talked about it earlier in his press conference, says, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Please don't force me to go out there, which is why I believe they keep Aiden O'Connell for at least a while, right? Maybe 2-3 games. But if he's not ready now, man, you have a month and 45 days, he said, but it's less than that till preseason. Your first preseason game is August 13th. You don't have a lot of time. And if you don't know the playbook, but there's other players that know the playbook, right? Players that are now third string are knowing the playbook. That could be a little bit of a problem. We hear about the intelligence of Fernando Mendoza. I would think learning the playbook would be the last problem he would have, right? Not knowing all of the playbook. And I'm sure they haven't fed him all of the playbook yet. I'm sure they're probably only about 40-50% in mini camps and, doing installs. But they do installs by sending the plays on your notebook, right? This is this half of the plays, all right? Here's 15 plays. Learn these because this is what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Here's another 10, 15, 20 plays. This is what we're going to be doing the next day, right? Do they have time to go over all those plays in an hour and a half? Probably not. So it's probably a lot less to maybe 4 or 5, in my opinion. So he has a point, though. You have a point. When you're drafting a guy number 1, you're expected to be that guy. You're expected to be ready to plug and play. What a lot of people are overlooking is the Raiders don't need him to be that guy. It's great if he is, and I'm sure by the time the season starts that he could be, right? They could throw him out there because if the pocket does break down, I feel a lot more confident in Mendoza trying to make a first down, running or rolling out of the pocket or picking up, a couple yards with his legs than Kirk Cousins or Aiden O'Connell, right? I feel better with Jacob Clark doing that than either one of those guys. So I don't know, but let's listen to the rest.
This powdered cement there, and so undercooked. How undercooked is he? You can still, if you listen closely, you can kind of hear him like mooing a little bit. Moo, moo. So I could kind of faintly make it out a little bit. So they're choosing Cousins, and Kubiak, as you heard in the soundbite there, saying how good he's playing, which seems like something you would say if you were Pinocchio and you wanted your nose to grow.
So there you have it, right? There you have it. Is the dude being a little harsh? Yes. Is he being completely honest? A little bit, right? A little bit. Now, completely honest on your own take and your own opinion, right? That changes everything. But in his opinion, you draft a guy, in a lot of opinions. You can look around Raider Nation content creators. You can look around YouTube content creators. You can look at national media. You can look anywhere, right? You can look anywhere. And a lot of people have the same feeling. This kid is ready. Put him out there. He won a national championship. He was the, Heisman Trophy winner. He went undefeated, right? There's only 3, 4, 5 guys that have ever done that. 2 of them were in the 60s. So a lot of people don't know that, but we get all that. We see all that. And if the Raiders had a scenario where it was Fernando Mendoza and Aiden O'Connell and they didn't bring in Kirk Cousins, I think there would be a lot more talk about Fernando Mendoza taking first team reps than Aiden O'Connell. That's just my opinion, right? But since you have Kirk Cousins out there, you can't go into a season with a guy that doesn't know the offense or know the rhythm or the timing of these players, the speed of their players, which guys can you count on? Which guys are going to make the catch? Which guys are, going to alligator shit when it's in a tight window? Which guys are going to stretch out and dive for the ball like Michael Mayer was doing in practice yesterday, right? Which guys are going to go that 120% and that extra mile for their quarterback to make sure he doesn't get an interception? Because there was times last year I seen some interceptions. I'm like, damn, y'all could have batted that up. Y'all could have got in front of it. You could have did something. They're just like, yeah, whatever. So, with that being said, man, it sucks that the Raiders finally have a number one pick quarterback, and there's drama of him whether he's playing or not. Now, yes, everybody wants to see him play. Some people feel he's the best quarterback in the building, but the man said out of his own mouth and his own words, I'm still learning the playbook. So do you want to start the season with 30% of Clint Kubiak's playbook and be limited to what we can run and just run the ball over and over again and let Genty have another 266 or 300 carries and Mike Washington have another, 50? Is that what we want to see from Raider football? No, man. We want to see Raider football. We want to see plays. We want to see first downs. We want to see red zone plays, right? We're tired of watching field goals or not even getting to the 50-yard line, man. We want to see Raider football. And if Fernando Mendoza, damn it, is the best player for that, then I'm not opposed to putting him out there. Throw him out there, right? If Aiden gives you the best chance for that, throw him out there. If it's Kirk Cousins, we're all going to root for him. But looking at that video of Kirk Cousins, if that doesn't scare you going into the season, he's not outrunning a defensive tackle. This dude's not outrunning a nose tackle, right? You could bring in Lackey Tassie at the zero tech, and if he gets by the center, Kirk Cousins is toast. Lackey Tassie's chasing him down. So that's, I don't know. That worries me. And I don't know how it worries Raider Nation, because I've been doing this content in December will be 3 years, right? And I've heard it all. I've seen it all. I've had, 10s, 20s of guests or whatever on the show. And I've always heard the same thing over and over and over and over again. We need a quarterback that can make plays with his legs. We need a quarterback that can run for first downs. We need a quarterback that can run back and forth from sideline to sideline and make a play, which is why they wanted JD5, which is why they wanted Shador Sanders, a lot of them, not all of y'all, but a lot of y'all, right? And now we're like, oh, but Kirk Cousins doesn't need to be fast. We have an offensive line that everybody's complained about for the last 3 years. This offensive line ain't going to turn around overnight. It's going to take some time, and maybe day one, right, they're okay. But right now, the Raiders, the only thing they've named is Kirk Cousins, the starter, who hasn't even put on pads. We don't even know what he's going to look like when you have guys like Max Crosby and Kwity Paye and Malcolm Kuntz and Crawford constantly in your face, but can't hit you. We don't know what that's going to look like. We have no idea what that's going to look like. And we can't project what that's going to look like just because we've seen, some plays in booty shorts. Clint Kubiak said, and Mike Dixon said, day one, he'll be the starter. And that was not what he said, right? That's not what he said. He said, tomorrow when practice starts, tomorrow, Kirk Cousins will be that guy that takes the majority of the snaps. Now, can that change? Yes. Can it not change? Yes. Could it be throughout the season? Yes. But he also said he wants those guys to push him. And if you're not pushing him, then yeah, he's going to be the starter. But if you're pushing him, then that means there's a competition, right? So they've preached competition, but I feel like for there to be a competition, it's up to Aiden O'Connell and Fernando Mendoza to make it a competition, right? They're not just going to give them a competition and be like, okay, well, let's just see what these guys that aren't doing shit or showing nothing with the ones and the twos and the threes or whoever they're with. You ain't making big plays over there. And yes, you got, lesser talent. That's fine. But if you're not showing out, you're not making plays, you're not being the first one in practice, the last one to leave, right? Doing your thing in the film room, then why should they give you first team reps? Why? You got to earn it. And I love that. I love the fact that my guy Brian was good. What happened? It should. Oh, sorry, I forgot I was in that. My bad. My bad. Thanks for saying that. I don't know why I'm zoomed in so close on this. Hold up. Time out. Wait. What's going on here? Why is my computer not clicking? That's my bad, bro. There we go. There we go. I don't know why I was in everybody's grill over there like that. I don't really like that one. Let's do that. No, I don't like that either. Oh, well, that one's fine, I guess. That'll work. But what was I saying now? Damn it. All right, I'll change that. But yeah, so that's what I feel, man. That's what I feel. Like, just have, you know, I just get that feeling. And yes, I'm getting in my feelings, not emotional feelings, just a gut feeling. Like, right? When your instinct tells you you shouldn't go that way, go the other way. Or maybe you shouldn't go to stores late at night, right? Or whatever, right? I was gonna go to this event, but maybe something told me I shouldn't go, or I'm gonna go on a trip and the plane crashes, right? Your instincts, feelings. I don't know. I don't know. But clipboard Jesus, Fernando Mendoza, that's messed up, bro. Um, he's already gave his opinion. He's still got to learn the playbook. He's still got a lot of things to learn. And that scares me even more because damn, looking at how slow Kurt was out there, I mean, yes, you're going to be a lot faster when somebody's chasing you and you got 320-pound dudes, running at you. But you still have an offensive line that they're subbing in and out. They're not getting a lot of, cohesionness. When it's a different guy next to you, it's kind of hard to have trust in that guy, right? You have to develop trust in the dude next to you that he can do his job, right? When it's a combo block, you got to know that, okay, he's going to help me, but he's also going to know when to release and get to the next guy, or hold the block long enough so I could release and get to the next guy, right? You have to have that trust in those guys, and it's hard to build that in an hour and a half practices when the guy next to you is different every single week, right? We've complained about this for the last 2 years. We did this 2 years ago. Who's going to be the offensive line? Who's going to be the offensive line? Who's going to be the starter? Well, at least this time in camp, we know who the quarterback is going to be, but we still do not know who the offensive line is. And speaking of awesome offensive line, right? Ryan McFadden says, let me pull this up as well so y'all can read it as well as I can. I think my buttons are broke on my computer. It is not working very well. Shouldn't have to hit it that hard. That's what she said. Anyways, Ryan McFadden, Trey Zune, and Jordan Meredith moved around quite a bit on the offensive line. Both players had reps at guard and center. So Trey Zune has now played both guard positions, center, a little bit of right tackle, and I guess they figure he don't really need a whole lot of reps at left tackle because that's where he played most of his reps. Overall, there wasn't a lot of plays from the wide receiver room. We heard Mike Dixon, shout out again, for saying, Trey Tucker had a play, looked like a one-handed catch for a touchdown yesterday, but today wasn't very many plays. From the wide receiver room, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, and Genty received the majority of the targets today. What I heard from the little birdie in my ear that wasn't reported is there were a lot of 12 personnel today. A lot of 12 personnel, mostly, I think most of the time they were in 12 personnel is what I got. So Michael Mayer out there, Brock Bowers out there, Ashton Genty getting the majority of the receiving targets. So they're trying to work on those check downs, getting everybody in place. Jack Gustafo was good, my brother. Many of those teams were desperate and just threw their quarterback out there to the fire. But it doesn't always have to be that way. Good point, my brother. Good point. And I've said that before, right? How many teams have had a Kirk Cousins or Aiden O'Connell in the building when they drafted their quarterback number one? Usually, when you draft your quarterback number one, you're the worst team in the NFL unless you're the Carolina Panthers and you trade up to get a Bryce Young, right? Then that's a little bit different. But yeah, I agree with that. A lot of them had to throw him out there. But it feels to me, Raider Knight, I see you. It feels like to me that if Kirk Cousins isn't that guy, you might have to throw him out there because I don't know. I heard Aiden O'Connell looked a lot better today than he did yesterday. And, you know, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, and we're going to get into that here in a minute. But let me know what y'all think about Aiden O'Connell. What would you give if you was another team that needed a quarterback? And right now there's a team like the Atlanta Falcons, right, who have Michael Penix Jr. that we talked about. Is he better than Fernando? I don't see any comments on that. Please comment. Do you think Fernando is better than Michael Penix Jr., who started over Kirk Cousins, right? Let me know. And I know that's a tough debate because a lot of people are saying, oh, Kirk Cousins should start. But then you literally look at it. I mean, I don't know. I know Fernando Mendoza has been a lot more durable in his career than a Michael Penix. But you have Michael Penix with the injury. You have Tua still kind of nursing an injury. And from what I heard is in Atlanta, they released their backup quarterback, Seaman, and they brought in I forgot who they brought in. But anyways, they have a UDFA right now taking first team reps in Atlanta. A UDFA. Why aren't you on the phone with the Las Vegas Raiders saying, give me Aiden O'Connell? Or why aren't you trying to get Mac Jones from the 49ers? What are you doing over there in Atlanta? Are they really going to go? How long are they going to go into the season with a UDFA taking first team reps? Is anybody going to be ready for the preseason in Atlanta? They got some problems over there. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody says, man, look, Aiden O'Connell can play some games. Let's bring him in here, see what he can do. For a couple teams that still got quarterback competition going on. Cam Ward, his team was bad, and he made plenty of mistakes. Season was cheeks last year. I don't know if it was cheeks. I thought Cam Ward played pretty damn good, in my opinion, for the team he had around him, for the coaching he had. I mean, do I have to say who the coaches were, right? I don't want to blast nobody's name, but y'all know, if you're a Raider fan for a minute, you know who the coaches were over there, right? It starts with a C, ends with a hand. Starts with a C, ends with a hand. So, yeah, I thought Cam Ward played very, very well for what he had to work with over there. I mean, I seen that dude truck a defensive lineman, literally truck a defensive lineman and keep on going. So, Cam Ward's a dog. And if you look at his backup and the competition he had going into camp, it was Will Levis, right? So he didn't have a lot of competition. If you look at Caleb Williams, right? It was Tyson Badgett, I do believe, was his quarterback competition. I don't know who else was in that building. So they didn't have a guy like Kirk Cousins, in my opinion. Kirko showing his age when running in practice, but also recovering from that ACL injury. I agree, Raider Knight, to an extent, right? That injury was over 3 years ago. He got it in the middle of the season. He was recovered. He recovered, started for Atlanta, had a horrible record, stat-wise, record-wise, right? And then the next year he got benched, or he got benched towards the end of the season, I do believe. Got benched towards the end of the season. They went with Michael Penix. So he's been 2 years. This is the third year. Like that ACL should be past you, out of your mind. But we've seen what it did to Aaron Rodgers. So I can't agree, right? Aaron Rodgers definitely isn't as mobile as he once was, but he's also 42, like Cousins. So when you're older, those injuries take longer to heal, and that's another worry. I mean, that's just another worry. If you're still not 100% off your ACL at 38, you're not going to help this team. You're going to slow it down. I don't know how you're going to help rhythm and timing plays that have to be out in 2.6 seconds or 2.7 seconds. Rivers sat for the first 2 seasons. Who did they have over there? Let me see. Let's pull that up. That's a good point. Who were the quarterbacks when Phillip Rivers was drafted in LA? San Diego, wherever the hell it was. Phillip was drafted. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Stop it. Come on, bro. Well, I mean, the quarterback room in San Diego, who later moved to LA, featured Drew Brees, Doug Flutie, shit, and Cleo Lemon. I mean, I don't think I have to say anymore. I don't. Primary took over as the full starter in the 6. Doug Flutie, veteran backup, played. Yeah, he had Fruity. He had Flutie in front of him. So, I mean, yeah, to a point, I get that. But that's what I'm saying is you could draft a quarterback first overall for a couple reasons. And the Raiders had a lot of reasons. Number one is you have a first overall pick, and there was no first overall talent in this draft. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. If I'm a team, if I had to pick one, probably would have been one of those defensive linemen, right? Those edge rushers, not the defensive linemen, those edge guys. Those were the top guys, Ruben Bain. But damn, number 1 overall, I mean, that's rough. That's rough. So looking at the draft, you just happen to have a draft where there's one quarterback, maybe 2. You could have went with a Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck will do fine over there in Arizona. He might get to play before Mendoza, and, he might win the offensive rookie MVP. You never know. We never know. So the Raiders had a tough decision. Nobody was giving you 3 first-round picks. The Raiders, like Max Crosby, they were not trading that first overall pick for anything less than 3. I have that on very good confidence. That was the asking price. It was 3, or we're not even talking, right? And it depended on who those 3 were from. If it was a team that, you're going to be in the 30s picking, I don't think they were very involved in that, right? And then the other part, we wrapped up practice. It was a strong day for the offense. Fernando Mendoza were solid. Mendoza completed a 25-yard pass to Devin Tompkins. All right, I'll get the rest of that in a minute. So, yeah. Sitting for a year ain't the worst thing, right? There's been plenty of guys that do it. Patrick Mahomes, but he was drafted 10th overall. They moved up to get him. They had Alex Smith in front of them. They were already a playoff team. They were already winning the AFC West. They had already been winning it for a minute, right? They didn't have no rush. We're at the bottom of the division. We have a new head coach. You have to come out as a new head coach and make a statement. I just don't feel like Kirk Cousins is a statement to me. It's just I mean, it could be a statement, but it's not the one we want, right? And I could be wrong. Kirk could come up there and slice and dice and throw those 5-10 yard, slant routes and some drag routes and some in routes and some out routes and some hook routes and, keep it inside 15 yards and Make sure when your guy catches the ball that there's receivers that are, out there as decoys that, can pick up some blocks and get the man some yak yardage. But that's a lot of ifs. That's a lot of ifs. My guy says, imagine if Washington, not going to happen, but imagine if the media would go wild. He did get first team reps today. He's not taking RB1, RB1, but he took some reps with the ones today. That's what I heard. From Mike Washington, running with the ones and twos. Dylan Labe also, taking some first and second team reps, a lot of second team reps. Not saying he's going to be second team, but taking a lot of second team reps. Kurt was never a runner. Yeah, Kurt was never a runner. He gets the ball out fast, right? He's good at those short yardage. He's very accurate at short yardage. That's why for his career, he's a QBR is like a 90 something, I do believe. It's higher than Peyton Manning's. For that reason, he doesn't make stupid decisions. But that's all great when you have an experienced, gelled offensive line, when you have a play caller or an offensive coordinator or an offensive line coach that has been working with the players for more than a couple weeks. I mean, that's all good. It's going to be rough when you have guys like DJ Glaze that needs to take a gigantic step. Like he's 6'4", 6'5". He needs to take like 8 steps, bro. like 8 steps. You gave up 10 plus sacks. You gave up over 30 hurries in 15 quarterback hits. Not all of it was on the scheme or the system, right? He's still playing that. He's still playing the tackle position. You have Spencer Burford, who his numbers don't lie in pass protection. It is not great. And a little birdie in my ear told me there was some plays where it looked like the left side got blown up in the passing game. Blown up. Guys in people's face, hurrying the quarterback, talking a little smack. So that's just what I heard. Left side and pass pro hasn't looked great. The run offensive line and the running game doesn't look great, but I will say this. There's no pads on. And for offensive linemen and their defense, there ain't really nothing you can do without pads on. I mean, you can slap hands, right? You can do a little pushing, right? These guys are trying to get to the quarterback, but it's not 120%. There's no pads on. So for the defensive line and the linebackers, and we've said this all camp long, right? There's not a lot you can do until Monday when the pads come on, and everything will change. It'll all start to reveal itself day by day by day, because I know damn well Kubiak's not going to put players out there that's not going to help him win, right? And if he does, then damn it, damn it, right? But I don't know. I think my guy Frank Weber said the other night, right? He has a reputation to uphold. Could that reputation to uphold be what hurt us? Just like the reputation that Pete Carroll had to uphold. He went on a limb for Geno Smith. It's a little bit of a different situation, a little bit of different love infatuation, but he went out on a limb for the Raiders to trade a 3rd round pick and to pay Geno some outrageously ridiculous contract, right? And for that reason, Pete Carroll could not pull Geno when he needed to be pulled. The flipping off the fans were unacceptable in Las Vegas. No matter who the coach is, who the quarterback is, that shit is unacceptable. You can't flip off the dudes that help pay your salary, right? You can't flip off the people that support you, that show up, that I don't know. You just can't. You can't do that, and you can't not be punished for that. You can't have no consequences for flipping off the fans, for having people pulled out of the building and kicked out of the building because they're talking smack to you, right? There's no acceptance for that, and we've seen that last year because Pete Carroll brought in his guy, and now you have Clint Kubiak that feels comfortable bringing in his guy to help bring this team along, bring the quarterbacks along, right? Show the system. But can his guys still run the system at the level it needs to be ran? That is my question. That is my question. Until I see different, I'm still going to have that question, right? You got to see it. And one or two possessions, maybe 3 possessions in a preseason game. Is that enough to see it, right? I got a report yesterday from somebody that was in the building that said Kirk Cousins had a couple throws, and more than a couple, had some throws that were not very good. Behind the receiver, timing was off, rhythm was off. Same thing I've been preaching and talking about, timing and rhythm. You have to be able to get to your mark. You have to be able to get the ball out fast enough on these rollouts, on these play actions. Now, it's the first scrimmage, right? You're going to have some rust. You're going to have to work it out. But when your starter has been named starter and in the first day of practice, he's missing some big plays, and then you have a rookie out there who's looking good, it's I don't know. For me, that's hard to swallow. If he isn't running, why do they trip on AOC for being mobile? Right? That's a good point. If he doesn't have to be mobile and fast, then what was the knock on AOC for the last 3 years? He wasn't mobile and fast. He couldn't make plays off a script, which he made plenty of plays off a script. I don't know how that was ever a point, but facts. Still 3-14 for the Titans. Yeah, still 3-14, but the young man had some good plays and he flashed a lot. He flashed a lot for being thrown out to the fire day one. I didn't think he was ready. I felt like they would bring in a veteran and let him sit for a year, but I was impressed with Cam Ward. I really was. I kind of wish we had the first round pick last year. If I knew he was going to play that good, I would have took a damn Cam. I'd have been on the Cam Ward train instead of the Jackson Dart. Why did they complain? Yeah, I got that about AOC being mobile. Shout out for the $2 for Shizzle my nizzle. Appreciate you, Raiders. Some say Arvell Reese should have been the first pick of the draft. Now, see, when you got a Max Crosby or you get a Max Crosby return to sender, right? You get return to sender on a Max Crosby deal. You can't really go get a guy like Arvell Reese. You can't really go get a guy like David Bailey. You would have had to go get a guy, in my opinion, like a Carnell Tate or one of these tackles. But was there really a tackle worth taking? Do you really take a tackle first overall? I mean, you can't take a running back in this day and age 6th overall. So who do you take? I mean, who do you take? Who do you take in the top 10? Let me know in the comments below. 20 people in here. Who do you take in the top end? Does it have to be a quarterback? Does a linebacker's out of the question? A safety's out of the question? Like, who do you take? Because the Raiders have been in this position 2 years in a row. Now, last year, yeah, they could have went and got Tedero McMillan. They could have went and got a Mason Graham, who, I mean, I didn't really see him do anything for Cleveland, and he had the best edge rusher on the planet next to him. Anyways, I digress. But, you could have went out and got some of those guys, or you take the biggest need available for the team, and our biggest need at the time was running back. Now, were we ready for a running back? No. Did we have all the pieces in place for a running back? No. But our biggest need was a running back, and there happened to be the best running back in the draft there, so we took him. This year, little different. Same thing. We need a quarterback. Is there a quarterback that can start day one? Is he a guy that's a quarterback that's NFL ready day one? No. But the Raiders were in a position where you can't trade back because nobody's going to give you 3 first rounds for a quarterback when there's 25 next year that could be coming out of the draft, and you could just go get one and hope to God it works, right? Swing for the fences. Find your guy. The Raiders didn't have that luxury. There was one quarterback in this draft that people had a first-round grade on. That one quarterback, probably a good 40% didn't have a first-round grade on. A lot of people had a second round, third round grade on Mendoza, which is crazy. But again, somebody said something that I found very interesting today, right? Signetti said in 2024, I do believe, when asked, why did you bring in Mendoza? The footwork's all wrong, this and that, right? He said, you bring me any quarterback and you'll leave here a better quarterback. He makes quarterbacks better. Signetti has the faith that he makes quarterbacks better. Look what he did to the man that good Lord, what was it? Brandon Sorsby, to the man that, had a gambling problem, but he was at Indiana. He moved on. Was a much better quarterback afterwards. I don't think Signetti was, I don't know if he was there yet. I could be wrong. But anyways, Curtis Rourke. You have Curtis Rourke. Yes, he was drafted in the 7th round, but Curtis Rourke became a much better quarterback at Indiana. I believe they went 11-1 or 11-2. So you have Signetti that believes he can make players better. You have a quarterback in Clint Kubiak that has shown from his track record with Sam Darnold, with Brock Purdy, he can make players better, right? I think it's a pretty good matchup. You take the best position in need. There was nobody else for the Raiders to pick. There was nobody we were going to trade with. It would make no sense in the world. I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're saying, well, just take 2 first rounds. So if you take 2 first rounds for Mendoza and he sits for a year somewhere else and then takes that team to the Super Bowl in the second year, like Joe Burrow did for the Bengals, you're going to be pissed that you only got 2 first-round picks, right? The Raiders ain't dumb. They did their homework. They have scouts in the building, so they had no other choice than to take Fernando Mendoza or take lesser value for a pick that, unless you're moving up from 3-1 or 2-1, is worth 3 first-round picks. Always. It always has been. Always has been. The Raiders did the right thing. You don't take less. You take a guy that many feel is not ready, and I'm sure they all had that feeling. We've heard them all talk about it, right? We didn't know till we got this guy in the building. We fell in love with him. The way he trains, the way he constantly is all about football, right? Getting better in football. And the Raiders know they have their guy. Is it a crime that he's not ready yet? Is it an actual crime that you draft a quarterback and he doesn't play in the first year? Are we forgetting about who we are talking about here? This is the Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles Raiders. Our draft histories are not great. Our first overall picks, we've only had 2, haven't been great. This time you had smart, intelligent, grown men in the building that said, okay, he might not be what we need now, but let's go get somebody that can hold the fort down until he's ready, and we can develop and mold a young quarterback into what we need, right? It's hard to come in and mold Aiden O'Connell, who's been in the league for 3 years with 3 bad organizations, with coaching that wasn't very good at developing. It's going to be hard to change his footwork, how he throws the ball and his mechanics, right? How he reads defenses, doesn't read defenses, how he rolls out of the pocket. He's already has a bunch of bad habits. Fernando Mendoza doesn't. You don't have those bad habits. So to me, it made all the sense taking this kid number 1. I was at the beginning of the season saying trade back, trade back, trade back. The value in trading back was great. But then you look at the position and the situation and you're like, but how do you trade back? You can't trade back with an invisible person, and you shouldn't devalue that first overall pick to trade back unless you didn't believe in that kid. And obviously they believed in him because they took him. And they're going to do the right thing. Don't force him to play. when he's ready, when he shows he's ready, when he shows there's confidence, right? They said today he's out there looking great when he's in the shotgun. Had a big play, 25-yard pass, but that was in the gun. That's something he's familiar with. So you want him to be just as familiar and as comfortable with running plays from under center as he is in the gun, right? You don't want to come out second guessing himself, making mistakes, making rookie mistakes that don't have to be made. If you just take the time to develop that quarterback and get rid of bad habits and teach good habits, then you don't have as many mistakes. You don't have to go through the growing pains as bad. What do we got? Aston Janty bounced outside, sprinting down the sideline for a big gain. Cousins avoided pressure from Max Crosby before completing a pass, a PA throw to Brock Bowers. So, Fernando Mendoza escaping pressure from Max Crosby. I mean, that could go either way. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks escape Max Crosby, and the fact that the quarterback can't be hit, and Max Crosby's been told not to hit quarterbacks, I don't know. You can take that however, but avoided pressure means he probably stepped to the side or, juked and dodged him. I don't know, but he got the ball off, completed to Brock Bowers. So, he is out there making plays. Hezekiah Massis continued to split first team reps with Darian Porter. That's going to be nice, man. If you can develop both of those guys at the same time, the future is bright for Las Vegas. The future is bright. And then the biggest one of all, a lot of people, mainly myself, but a lot of people I know are dying to hear this. Defensive line, Tonka Hemingway, was heavily, Heavily, to the Y, heavily involved in first team defensive reps today. So Tonka Hemingway taking huge strides. We've seen what he did last year when he finally wasn't inactive, right? How many times were we sitting there watching the game day roster? I know as a content creator, every single week I was like, come on, man, when y'all gonna put out this roster, right? Who's inactive? Who's a scratch? Who's inactive? And every single week I flip it and they'd be like, Tonka Hemingway, JJ Pegues, Jack Besh, Dante Thornton. We're like, what? Come on, man. What are you doing over here? Like, let's get those guys out there. We're not winning. We're not getting any pass rush. We're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. And thank God that this regime is starting to see the light from some of these players. They're taking notice to what these guys are doing. And shout out to the players that are being noticed, that are doing enough to be noticed. Tonka Hemingway could be a huge advantage just for us. If you tell me you can get Tonka Hemingway, Jonah Lalu, and Thomas Booker out there on the field, I feel a lot comfortable with that. But shout out to Tonka Hemingway, heavily involved in first team reps. That is a huge sign for a 6th overall pick. Spytech, maybe he was cooking. Maybe he does know what he's doing, for all the Spytech haters out there. Max Crosby was disruptive again in the run and the pass. So Max is flying around, disruptive in the run game, in the pass game. Shout out to Max. It could be nasty for the NFL this year, and the Baltimore Ravens might be regretting it. They might be choking on a Raven. Raiders continue to rotate wide receivers. Trey Tucker, Jack Besh, Jalen Naylor, Dante Thornton, and Benson all had reps with the first team. That says a lot, but it doesn't say a lot as where the hell is Cedric Jackson? Hopefully tomorrow, Monday when the pads come on, we hear more about Cedric Jackson, but that is the rotation for the wide receivers running with the ones. Again, Trey Tucker, Jack Besh, Jalen Naylor, Dante Thornton, and Malik Benson. And that very well, folks, could be the 5 guys the Raiders run with when the season starts. Now, I've been on the Thornton train of, if it's that far of a development, if he's still 2 or 3 years away, or even 1 for that matter, does he make this roster? Does he stay on this roster? and he's starting to show. It seems like that, man, the kid ain't going nowhere. So guys like Cedric Jackson, maybe, walking the plank. You might have guys like Derek Young walking the plank. A lot of good wide receivers, and I don't know how many you can keep on the practice squad before they're snatched up. This is the NFL. People are going to recognize talent, but shout out to Tucker, Besh, Naylor, and Dante Thornton for going out there getting reps with the ones. Now, I didn't hear anything big and anything special, right? And the little birdie in my ear, and I was talking about it, and then Ryan Hogue, wide receiver, said he didn't see no sense of urgency out there, right? There was nobody out there making the big plays. Nobody was, look like every single play, right? They know what they're doing, and you get that for day one, but somebody's got to start making plays. So somebody's got to start making plays, right? The pads are coming on Monday. Man, even the last 2 years, first day, second day of camp, we heard 3 touchdowns, an interception, right? 2 touchdowns or 3 interceptions or something. But there was big plays. We didn't see them on the field when the season started, but we heard them in camp and we heard them early. So don't get nervous. They will come. It's just a feeling out process. Maybe they're, Kubiak, we know, runs things a little different. Shout out to the 24 people in here. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Hit that like button if you would. Do me a favor. Trying to get 30 likes on this live stream. I probably should have said that from the beginning, but by the time Mike jumped on, it was a little hard. It's supposed to record Breaking Heat in Las Vegas next week. Jack Ken in the building. What's good? What's good with you? Shout out to the nation. Pete Carroll should be charged for stealing that salary from the Raiders. Damn. Yeah, I'd be fighting for that, man. I'd be fighting for that. Absolutely, 100%. Definitely robbed us. My guy Brian says Pete Carroll was less of a problem than Chip Kelly was, but Pete inherited a roster. The vibe was totally off between him and the players. Yeah. You bring in a grandpa with a very young roster, and those guys aren't just, they weren't vibing with what he was trying to say. You came in and fed him a line of bullshit from the very beginning. We're going to win 10 games. I've done this before. I have the recipe. I have the blueprint. I sat up here and said the same thing. He has the blueprint. Why not us? Okay, well, why not us, but the Raiders have good running backs now, Genty, Washington, and Hemby. And don't forget Lobby. Lobby's been out there making some plays. Little birdie in my ear said again today, Lobby's been out there doing his thing, catching plays out of the backfield. Finally, I've been screaming this since he was drafted. His best asset is catching plays out of the backfield or shit, even lining up in the slot. Put the young man out there and let Lobby cook. So shout out for this coaching staff to finally recognize some of these players that a lot of us have been talking about. Gino is a crash out. He's going to crash out with New Jersey. Gino's got something to prove, man. I hope for his sake, right? I hate to see anybody fail. And I hate to see anybody fail because of others. That's the worst, right? When people try to hold you down or, do things to try to take away what you've earned. That's rough. That's rough for Gino. So he's got a hell of a offensive line over there. Coaches, I really don't know how they're going to gel or how they're going to work, but a whole bunch of first and second round picks over there, and the talent is there. The talent is definitely there. Gino's just got to get out of his head and play football. But again, I've never really thought Gino was a good quarterback. Just he got lucky in Seattle. Not sleepless in Seattle, lucky in Seattle. And we'll see how he comes out of it. But yeah, he's gonna have a rough time. I agree with you, my guy, Brian. You're still way zoomed on the shorter view. Not sure if you knew that. Yeah, I don't know. It's all good. Yes, Gino is a big baby, right? Blame it on Gino. Yes, I'm gonna be blaming it on Gino all year. Gino sucked, but Pete was scored for you got to blame the dudes that are controlling it, right? Because as bad as Gino was, as bad as the offensive line was, they tried to keep putting band-aids on the problem by putting in your guys, and Pete was the problem. Like, no, I mean, I love Pete. I respect Pete for everything he did in his career. He should have stayed retired. He shouldn't have came back. That it put a big dent in his body of work and what he's done. should have never happened. It should have never happened, in my opinion. It just, you know, he was trying to do things the way he's done it his whole career, and bringing in guys like Stone Forsythe and not letting the young guys at least get a chance until it was too late was a bad look. All of it was a bad look. Having your son as the offensive line coach, I said from day one, this is bad. This is bad. You can't do that. And I could see if he was like respected, one of the top 10 offensive linemen in the NFL, might have been different. But but no. There's a reason. If you look at his resume, every year it's a new job. And some of those years it was 2 different jobs. There's a reason for that. Nothing against Brendan Carroll. Just wasn't qualified. Enough. They should look more to the back of Jamarcus Russell and his work habits. Yeah, the background for Jamarcus and his work habits were very, very bad. Very bad. And Mendoza's different than that, right? Mendoza wants to be the best. But I've talked about this on this channel till I'm blue in the face, right? Mendoza is the problem. He's struggling right now. And I know people are going to be like, what do you mean? How is he the problem, right? He's a problem. He's a thinker. Obviously, anyways, you can tell by the way the man talks, the way he processes things, right? He wants to be perfect. He said it himself. He has to know the schematics of the play, why to play, why are we calling this play against this defense? How's the play going to work? Why does it work? Like, he wants to know everything. And when you want that much detail and you're trying to learn a playbook, that's hindering, your improvement or your recollection of the playbook, in my opinion, right? You're not focusing on learning the playbook. You want to know, okay, I figured out this play, but now how does it work? Let's break it all down. And that's taking longer. That's going to take a lot longer instead of just saying, all right, I learned this play. This is why. But when you have to know, the ins and outs, why are you calling this play against this defense? If they line up in this defense, why is this play not going to work or possibly not work? Why should I check out of it? There's so much that goes into lining guys up. I heard Fernando Mendoza today was yelling at some people. Yo, over here, putting guys in place. And we haven't seen that from our quarterbacks in a minute. So shout out to the young buck. He hired his sons who sucked. Yeah, that was the biggest downfall. That was a big downfall. Don't get me wrong. I think Gino, all but Pete was at fault for that. I think everybody was at fault for that. Whoever thought letting whoever hired Chip Kelly and whoever hired Pete Carroll and whoever hired, it seemed like there was too many people hiring too many people instead of the correct people making the decision. The general manager. Let the general manager cook. That's why you hire him. You hire him to bring in people that he feels can come in and run what his identity and his version of what the Las Vegas Raiders should be. And you can't have that version when you have a Mark Davis over your shoulder, a Tom Brady over your shoulder, and 15 minority owners all wanting to have a piece in how they think this franchise should run, how they think the future should go, how they think the development of the future should go, right? That's hard for Spy Tech. Pete was killing his team. Yes, he was. Rebel, what about Vita Vea rumors? I talked a little bit about it the last time I was live. I feel like if you can get him for the right price, you go get a Vita Vea, but at 31, I'm not paying the guy $60 million for a 3-year contract, or even, I'm not paying him what he's getting now, $17 million. He wants a contract. He wants more money, obviously, is why he wants out of Tampa. And maybe he doesn't want more money. I'm not, I don't know. Maybe he just wants that guaranteed money. And if that's the case, the Raiders could give him that guaranteed money. We have no problem signing him for a 1-year deal for the $17 million he's owed. And I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem probably eating, part of that dead cap money to get him. But the question is, what do you trade for him? Do you give up draft picks? Do you give up young talent that you can possibly develop in the next year or two over a player that, might not be in the league in a year or two? You never know. So I think he would be a huge difference maker on this defensive line. You finally have somebody that consistently get to the quarterback. We've seen the first 2 years with Christian Wilkins, what it did for Max Crosby in those first 2 years, right? He was a menace, excuse me, in the first 2 games. So I believe he would help, but the price has to be right. Sacktown Mike, what's good? Been a minute, my family. Appreciate you in the building. All against Brendan Carroll. Say aye. Say aye. Yeah, all 3 Carrolls. A lot of people were forgetting that Nate Carroll was the passing game coordinator. He was heavily involved in the offense and the play calling as well with the headset on. So the Tokyo Hotel, now the international pathway player. I'm not sure, Kenna. I'm going to have to look that up. Hold on. Let me ask. See if the hell just happened. Does kicker for the Las Vegas Raiders, Tokyo Toe, qualify for the international pathway player? Oh, okay. Well, that's probably why. It says yes. Las Vegas Raiders kicker Kinsei Katsuwana, nicknamed the Tokyo Toe, qualified and joined the NFL through the International Pathway program. So if he came in through, he probably is that guy, which is probably why they moved on from Lackey Tassie. G-Fam was good, my brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, and then what else we got in here? Somebody said, my eyes, it seemed like Fernando Mendoza looked much faster than Kirk Cousins in drop back passes and in rollouts. Now, I've seen that on film as well. I was timing them next to each other. Let's just look at some of that. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I was timing them next to each other when the ball comes out. Who's getting the ball out faster, right? Who's in their rollouts quicker? Because that all makes a right here, right? That's all big, man. That's all big, right? All big. 2 months ago on Las Vegas Raider Camp, LV. Marching. All right, where the hell is it? Oh, no, videos. What those? That's Clay Walker, Malcolm, Coons. Damn it, I had it pulled up yesterday, but I didn't go live. I had some shit come up. Let me see. This one? Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah. To the yeah. To the yeah. All right, let me pull this up. Oh wait, I still have something pulled up. Damn, stop sharing. I need fed and just wrapped up camp. Nope, I need a window. I need this one. No audio. Voila. To the la. All right, damn it. I can't see. No. Okay. All right. Try to blow this up for y'all so you can see better. Doesn't look very good like that. Let's roll it like this. All right. This Aiden O'Connell for a second. It glitches. Running with the threes. Little quick rollout. Dump to the backfield. That's what everybody's doing. To Mike Washington. This is kind of confusing, right? Because they said Mike Washington was running with the ones and twos, but Aiden O'Connell's running with the threes. Clearly, that's Mike Washington. Clearly, that's Aiden O'Connell. They look like they're running with the threes from what I've seen from the O-line and the wide receivers. So, don't believe everything you read and you hear. Everybody makes mistakes, but let's get into this. Here we got Mendoza, a little dump down to Dylan Labe. Mendoza dabbing everybody up, trying to earn the respect. He is way bigger than Dylan Labe. Let me back that up just a little bit. All right, here we go. Boom. Aiden O'Connell. Ball is out. Kirk's coming out about the same time. Here we go. Jacob Clark and Mendoza. Mendoza doesn't have a ball yet. That's a mismatch on the personnel or on the staff over there, not getting the ball out fast enough, right? Left your quarterback with no ball to throw. Doesn't really look good. Here we go the opposite way. Let's watch these rollouts. Y'all make your own opinion, right? Out. Kirk Cousins looks better in the duck. Aiden O'Connell got the ball out first. But if you look at the handoff right here, right? If you look at the handoff right here, look what they're at. Aiden O'Connell looks like he's a step ahead. Kirk looks like he's got it. I don't know. Maybe a step ahead. Looks like he's got the ball stretched out more. So it looks like he's already got a handoff. Oh, no. That was just a fake. Oh, my bad. I'm blind. I can't see. But look at the difference in how low Kirk Cousins gets. Shit, my bad. The difference in how low Cousins gets in the handoff compared to Aiden O'Connell. Did I go back too far? Fuck my life. I just ruined it. There we go. Yeah, check it again. Yeah, see how Kirk dips his head like an ostrich, trying to put his head in the sand, right? Aiden O'Connell's a little bit too stiff, a little bit upright. I like the footwork here from Aiden O'Connell. Nice wide base. Look, Aiden O'Connell ready to throw. Kirk Cousins got his feet together, leaning forward. Just look like Aiden O'Connell's ready, a little bit more ready. Yeah, see the ball's out. Kirk's still getting his little step. So it just seems to me like he's just a little bit behind than all these quarterbacks, right? From what I'm seeing. And then we have we have Mendoza, Jacob Clark. Look at the difference between the handoff here. I want you to pay attention to the footwork. Okay, not this one. I went too far. My bad. Damn, this shit doesn't move very good. All right, there we go. Nope, that's Aiden. Okay. The footwork and the difference in the footwork, right? Feet a little bit close together. Mendoza, nice wide base. Mendoza, same thing. See how he tucks his body, right? He's tucking his body, selling that fake. You want to get the players, right? If you're just upright and you're just giving a little alligator arm handoff, right? Nobody's going to bite on that. The defense sees that. They see, it's just a little alligator fake. Yes, you want to keep the ball to your body, but you want to sell that fake. You want to definitely stick it out there. Wait till the running back gets to a point where he's, and nobody can see, and then pull it back. Cousins and Mendoza both do a great job of getting low, selling the fake, a little high from the other two, but then coming out of their break, right? Look at their steps. Look at the steps. totally different. One's on, front foot is his left leg, front foot, left leg, but a lot more lower, a lot more bend. Nice base from Fernando. Jacob Clark probably could get a little bit wider, right? He's a big dude, isn't he? 6'4", 220, right? Get your base a little wider. Keep your hands tight to your body. So Mendoza always got that left hand real tight to his body, so when he turns like a golf swing, right, you're getting that impact on there, a little bit more torque. But Mendoza has the ball out way before Jacob Clark. And again, we'll look at these. Aiden's ball's out a little bit faster. Mendoza. Ball's out quick. Looked like a little low, though. Looked like a little low. But when you're throwing to Dylan Labe, I can see that, right? He's not the biggest cat out there. What else we got? There's some more throws from the quarterbacks lining up in the gun, right? Kirk, quick decision that time, got the ball out. We couldn't see the other ball in the camera view. Only one quarterback going. I don't know what happened over here to Jacob Clark. I think he was getting a drink of water or something. I don't know. You got Mendoza and Clark. Oh, shit, I went back too far. I think. Nope, this is it. You got Aiden and Kurt. And then watch this. Watch this. Pulling up right here. Where were you at? Where were you at, Jacob Clark? Mendoza said, I'm going, bro. Look, I'm going. You about missed your rep. I'm out. I'm done. So Jacob Clark misses his rep. He wasn't there in time. I don't know what happened over there, but that's not good. But they're quick to it, man. They're quick to it. Up and at them in practice. Here's a little bit more single throws, right? Here we go, Mendoza being told where the ball. Quick little two-read progression, get the ball out. Aiden O'Connell, same thing, little two-read progressions, ball out, nice throw. Back up to the line. I will say, bro, I can't lie. I got to be honest. The footwork is okay from Aiden. The base is great, but Mendoza's footwork is way better than Cousins, Aiden O'Connell's, and Jacob Clark's, in my opinion. Like, the steps are short, they're powerful, and for those long ass legs, you think he'd have longer strides, but he doesn't. Here's Kurt getting the ball out. Little two throws from Kirk. Nice little pass. And then Mendoza right back up again. Somebody needs to jump up in that line and be like, I want some of these reps. Let me get some. So here's Mendoza. Looks very solid, very comfortable to me. Very solid in the gun, right? That's where he's played most of his football. That's where he's the most comfortable. And there is a scenario, if the Raiders had to, they could throw Mendoza out there and I feel just fine, right? Like I said, you give him, 40 to 60% of the playbook, you dumb it down a little bit. He's not having to learn as much. I think he'd be fine, but there's no reason to rush it. No reason to rush it. Solid throw. The ball comes out super quick. The spiral is tight as hell. The velocity on the ball is better than everybody in the buildings. Like, it's not even close. I mean, here's Aiden O'Connell again. Nice velocity coming right at you. Good little throw. Nice little fake step up into the bucket and throw. So, man, all quarterbacks looking good. These guys are doing their job over there. getting these guys prepared for, for the Cardinals. I guess the Cardinals is the first game, man. Shout out to 20 people still in the building. We've been here 2 hours and 24 minutes. I'm going to get off here, but that is the news. That is everything going on with the Las Vegas Raiders. Hemingway might end up putting together a very solid season. Some of the people are saying in the chats. But let me know, man. Let me know how you feel about Fernando Mendoza, his development. Is there some, big gigantic rush? Are you comfortable with Kirk Cousins? Do you have questions like me, right? Do you feel like the age could hamper could hamper this season? I don't want to have this season come down to a quarterback not able to do his job, right? Not able to get the ball out in timing plays and rhythm plays. But yeah, let me know. Candy, say what? My wife is Japanese and my kids 50-50 Irish and Japanese. Nice, Kena. Oh shit, y'all crazy over here. I don't know about name, just production, right? Production from somebody. Give me some production. My guy Lawrence in the building. How is it going, my brother? How's everything going? Are you out of the hospital yet? How's the heart? Let me know how everything is going. Hope all is well. What else we got? Raider Mike in the building. What's good? That's why AOC is ass. That's why AOC that's why AOC equals ass on the couch. I don't know. We'll see. Mendoza is looking good out there. He is looking very good out there. He's every week seems to be, better and better in his progress. He's taking baby steps. The one thing I like about Fernando Mendoza is he's very honest, right? He's not going to come out and say, keep telling the nation, I'm not ready. When he's ready, he's going to tell us, right? He's going to tell us, man, I got the playbook down, right? I feel very comfortable in the system, right? He's going to be jumping around. The kid's going to be jumping out of his skin to get on the football field. He's a competitor, just like everybody else in that building, right? Like him or not, they're all competitors. Aiden O'Connell, Kirk Cousins, Jacob Clark, they all want to play. They all want to help this team win. And Fernando said one of the greatest things that a lot of people should take heed to, right? He said, I just want to win. Just win, baby. I'm good with whoever the starting quarterback is, right? I'm sure everybody in the building feels like it's Kirk Cousins, but anything can happen. So the fact that, right, he knows his role. He knows it's going to take time, and he's got a lot to prove. You got to go out and earn it. And if anybody can hate on Clint Kubiak and this staff or Spytek for making a quarterback earn it because he was picked first overall, it's a horrible look for us, in my opinion. I feel. Thanks, nephew, about the shout out. I live about an hour or so. You got a show, Sacktown? You should have been told me. Yeah, he's got a show. Well, he goes on other people's shows. You don't do shit by yourself, right, Sacktown? As soon as the Mandalorian has the full playbook down, he'll be in there starting. I believe that, God and family. I believe that. I don't, unless Kirk Cousins is just killing it, I don't see how you can keep the kid down for a season, right? I talked about it. I'm good with it if that's what they feel. I don't like it, right? I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it's the right thing to do. If this kid is ready, if Jacob Clark's ready, if Aiden O'Connell's ready, right? If Kirk Cousins, whoever it is, I just don't want our quarterback to be handed a job, right? If Kirk Cousins is not out there in the first 2-3 series he has making plays and looking bad, it's going to be a problem. People are going to be screaming, Mendoza. Good lines are always fun. Wait, what? You only got an OnlyFans. What you doing? OnlyFans in the hospital? You got the nurses. You got the nurses signed up with their own subscription and shit. You're a freak, my guy Lawrence. You are a freak. If them trolls candy, you need good moderators. Get the timeouts. Unless you drop a super chats or paying for trolls. That's what I keep telling her. Just kick the trolls, man. It's not like YouTube's gonna stop sending people to your chat. Like, just sit there, have good mods, and just boot them. But you got to have mods that are good enough that they can get them out of the chat before she reads them. Because once she reads them, it's all over. It's all over. All over. Rule of thumb. Crazies must super chat or shut the fuck up. You reached 100K trolls? That's crazy. You shouldn't say that because some of them are followers or whatever, however you want to call it. Too many thirsty old men out there. Comes with the territory, right? Everybody's thirsty. 100K subscribers. Congrats. Yeah, congrats on 100K. You're a grinder. As long as YouTube keeps writing those checks, I guess you have just turned the other cheek. Shit, I wish they'd write me some checks. I don't have my own show. I'll be on Raiders football later. Check it out. Yeah, I need to get you. I need to pull you up, Sacktown Mike. Do you follow me on Instagram? I know I've asked this question before. I don't know how else to get a hold of you. So hit me up on Instagram, man, so we can get you on the show. I'd like to get you on. I need to get Kenna on. I got a lot of people I still need to get on. I keep bringing back the same old people because I forget about y'all, but I just don't have no way to set up the live. Well, I guess Kenna I do. I can get a hold of Kenna, but so yes, let me know when y'all are available. Jack Kenna, Mr. Sacktown, Lawrence, whoever else wants to come on. G-Fam, y'all want to come on? Let me know. Let me know what day I should do fan night pull up, right? I know my guy Steve wants to come in. Brian, if you want to come in, you could come in. I know you said you pull up, I think. So let me know what's the best time to drop the link in the chat for y'all to pull up. It's not tonight because I'm Sacktown Mike on IG. I'm pretty sure I follow you, man. I'm pretty sure I follow you, but I'll have to look it up. But yeah, man, we definitely need to link up, talk about the season, talk about everything's going. So that's all I got. Talking Hemingway in the news, taking first team reps. Hezekiah Masses making a name for himself. Wide receivers are kind of scaring me. They haven't really stepped up. They've been running a lot of 12 personnel, but it's only day 3 of practice. So don't get too crazy. I'm too busy with my OnlyFans, or I would. Fucking God and family. You know, whatever it is, my brother, whatever it is, it's cool. It's all good. So yeah, y'all see the tip to plug. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, right? Tip your plug for all that Raiders content, news, info, behind the scenes, stuff you won't hear everywhere that they don't all tell you, right? Raiders. But yeah, man, that's the show. Shout out to Mike Dixon pulling up, gracing us with his presence. Shout out to everybody commenting. Hit them likes on the way out if you already haven't hit those likes. We were trying to get to 30 likes. I don't know how many we are, how many we got. I need a like counter on this damn thing if I'm going to do stuff like that. Let me see if I can look on this real quick and see what we got. $14 likes, man. 14 likes. Come on, 14 likes. Hit them likes. We got to at least get to 30. 17 people in the building. I don't know how many people have come through. I need the counter. But 17 watching. We got 14 likes. If you already hit that like, thank you. I appreciate you. If you're on Facebook, if you're on X, if you're on whatever else I'm on, Twitter, Rumble, all of that, hop over. Show some love. Give a like. I'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate the more likes, the more YouTube pushes my content. So if we've got to grow this community, can't grow the community without people seeing the content, right? Again, 200, 300 views, they send them out to, however YouTube does their thing. So the likes, the comments, all that helps. And I appreciate everybody that does help grow this channel. Rebel, I hit the Utopia. I hit Utopia up on Zig. Nice. But so yeah, man, that's what I got for y'all. Little bit of worries, right? Little bit of worries in, can the quarterback hold up? Can the offensive line hold up? If Spencer Burford is that guy, you've heard it here first, right? Not my pick. Just don't believe in Spencer Burford. Has nothing to do with the 49ers or where he came from. If Kirk Cousins is that guy, right? His body of work shows for itself. But how long can he be that guy? How long can he hold up? Can he do it at a high level? All questions I have, all questions that will soon be answered. We will be, again, August 20th in Houston. I do believe I'm going to be there for the practice as well as the game. I do believe so. Let's keep these lights on, fam. Raiders. Shout out to G fam in the building. Appreciate you for the $5 holler, my brother. Yeah, y'all go check out Candy's links over there. Support that channel as well. We need to get her on the show as well and talk Raider football. She's still in the process of trying to learn everything. So we will definitely look for an appearance for her and the girls very, very soon. Frank Weber in the building. What's good, my guy? Appreciate you. Can't do an Uncle Mike on Candy's channel. I have zero tolerance for trolls. Right? Yeah, I can't go on there either, man. That's why you never see me in there, because I just be sitting there kicking people out and then cussing people out, and then that doesn't help the channel. So shout out to the 18 people that are still here, man. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all turn on the notification buttons, because we start the chat. There's nobody in here, right? It's very empty. I'm talking to myself for the first 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes. So make sure your noties are on if you like this kind of content. If you want to catch the whole show, if you catch the replay, leave me a comment. Let me know how you like the content, what you don't like about the content. What are your opinions on my content? The more you content on the videos and the live streams after they are over, right, the more YouTube pushes it. The more people we get in, the more conversations we have, the more football talks we have. Next Friday, we will be doing some kind of crazy shit. I don't know what it is on Business Decision channel. So pull up for that. Some kind of debate. Should be fun. I seen the thumbnail. Got guys like Severe, Raider, Jason Downs, right? The Yerp Jeezy, Raider Twan. I don't know all of them, but I don't know if it's all going to be at once or what's going on. I'm still trying to get the info. Make sure you hit the hype button after this video is over, if y'all could. Yo, Rebel at the barbershop. Have a great show, my brother. Appreciate you. Make sure you get that fade nice and tight. And appreciate every single one of y'all watching, man. So I appreciate y'all rolling deep this late. But if y'all could, and I know I got a plan. I know I'm always jumping around, but schedules are coming very, very soon. Very soon. We got to be more professional, even if it is not a job for me, right? It's just love that I do. But even love, I feel like I got to be more professional, and it makes it easier for y'all to show up when you know when the time's going to be on a consistent basis, week in and week out, night in and night out. So we will get that going. We will set up a schedule very soon. We're trying to be live at least 5 days a week. I know y'all don't want to see my face 7 days a week. 5 is probably too much for some of y'all, but love the support. Appreciate every single one of y'all. Protect your mind, yourself, your family. Always hold a commitment to excellence to yourself and the people you roll with, and just win, baby. Raiders. Peace. Sacktown Mike will be there as well. So he'll be on the debate show next Friday. and I will be on there as well. So I don't know what it all entails. I really haven't got any information yet, so I need to check with the quarterback, Black the quarterback, and see what it's all about. But yes, pull up. It'll be fun. It should be loud. It should be exciting, right? And everybody will be on their own channels, I do believe. So when you do show up, make sure you show love to the people on the panel, whether you like them or not. Pop in their live, hit the like button. Just be respectful and show love to all content creators that come on, that give their time to share their information, their news, their thoughts, and their feelings with all of y'all. So appreciate you again. Much love. Peace.